Warning. This episode of the LewdSquad Podcast contains not safe for work subjects as well as excessive profanity. Opinions in this podcast should be taken with a grain of salt, and the subjects are only brought up for the sake of discussion. If you do not wish to hear these subjects, please click out of the page. Viewer discretion advised.
Hey guys, welcome to the LewdSquad Podcast. My name is Simon Cripps, and I am the master of masters, at least in my head. I am joined by Sealguy, Silver Rider, returning again. We missed him last week.
Silver Winter, you said that.
Silver Winter, Silver
You
Rider.
messed that up last week.
You're right.
Motherfucker.
We're never good at intros.
You're never going to get it right. So anyway, continuing with the intro, we got SJ Dark joining us is my friend Carter. He's over there in the back. Is he?
Kinda.
And Enario's here with us again. I might be a little bit less talkative because I'm feeling terrible. I've been sick for like the past couple of days, but I was like, I got to do the podcast. I gotta be here. It's the LewdSquad, so it's like, yeah. So we got a handful of topics that we want to talk about this week. Some things.
You forgot to introduce SSJ and Siraxis.
I said SSJ.
What about Siraxis?
Cut him some slack. He is sick, man.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not like unless Siraxis ass ain't here, unless he ain't in the chat, that nigga did. But no, I'm just playing. Well, Siraxis probably is going to be here. But back to what I was saying, we got a handful of topics that we might want to talk about. I know what they are, but I just can't see them off the top of my head. So it's like I'm gonna let you guys take it away.
All right, so let's go to the topic that Kobe originally brought 2 weeks ago, but we were never able to talk about it because it wasn't here last week, and that was foot fetishes.
Oh, shit.
So if you want to lead off, Silver Winter.
I just want to bring it up to start shaming fuckers, but what the fuck is with foot fetish though? I don't understand that shit. Like, whenever I read hentai mangas and when I do see niggas with that shit, just foot and get hard, I don't understand at all. You know what's between their toes? I hope you know.
Yeah, nigga.
Maybe that's what they get off to, the fact that they don't know.
Oh, hey,
Oh God.
Yeah. Wait, what the fuck?
You know there are diseases.
A guy getting off of like ass when he doesn't know what a girl ate. Like for real now, G.
So which would you rather do? Sticky? This is awkward.
Just say it. Just say it.
So which would you rather do? Like stick your dick between your girl's butt cheeks or stick your dick between your girl's feet? It's like, come on, man. It's nasty either way,
Are there pantyhose or thigh-high socks involved?
Oh boy.
Oh, look at this guy over here.
We don't talk about weak fetishes here. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't shame fetishes here.
I will destroy you.
Oh, we don't. Yeah, we don't say fetishes unless you're in some pretty fucked up shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you mean like in the first podcast? It's legitimately titled "We Just Like Cucks."
Hey, that was just
There's
for that
certain-
topic. Now we can get back into no fetish shaming mode.
But foot fetishes. I like to see things from both sides. Give me a second. I wouldn't give nobody. I would like give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I could guess feet can be kind of sexy. Like in a way, like you gotta at least see, like y'all gotta at least see some cute little feet at least once in your life. Not to the point to say, you know what? I'll stick my dick between those.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But it's like, you seen some cute feet in your life, and so not to bitches, but hey. Kind of takes me back to like if anybody seen that recent Dave Chappelle special, he made a joke about fucking his wife's feet.
Oh yeah.
Somebody went to sleep tonight without any socks on.
Oh God, why?
I wouldn't do it because one, your feet go on the ground. Two, there are diseases for your foot. There's foot fungus. There's athlete's foot. There's I recently found out there's such thing as toenail fungus.
Well,
Growing mushrooms and shit.
No, as in when your toenails become yellow and discolored, that's how you know.
yikes.
I know plenty of niggas like that, dude.
Or you could get trench foot or whatever the heck that is.
So it's like,
First
why
off,
do you want your dick right
look
there?
like that, I think you'll smell it before you see it.
No, not really. It doesn't. Well, at least not the toenail fungus, but a foot fungus, you probably smell it. Athlete's foot, you probably smell it. But yes, like, why would you want to stick your dick in? Why would you want to stick your dick in between a woman's foot or a guy's foot if you're into that?
Not in between.
Well, wait, hold on, wait. Did you just say stick your dick in between a guy's foot if you're a girl?
No, I said if you're into that.
Don't assume that person's gender.
Assuming gender's over here.
Yeah, no.
Don't you have a Tumblr, TJ?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You're gonna offend someone.
Everybody, don't worry. Everybody, people gonna get offended by me by saying the word "duh," so it's okay.
You never know. Those SJWs gonna come knocking at your door one day, like, what the fuck is your problem? And you draw porn? You trying to assume people's genders?
Yeah, no. Oh my god.
Better hope the black card helps.
Oh yeah, trust me. I'm gonna just say I'm being oppressed, but but let's get back on topic here. Fucking footsies.
Not the street fight. Not the street fighter.
Not the fighting term. Not the fighting term.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's like, plus on top of that, how can you like actually get enjoyment out of? How are you able to get that much enjoyment from your dick being rubbed by feet that you will want to orgasm? Like, if anything, you'll just feel like somebody's trying to step on you. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why this doesn't feel good at all?
That's kind of another form of excitement right there.
Right, it's like even though it's feet, just compared to everything else that you're into, you can't really explain it, but the shit gets you hard and it gets you going.
Well, that is true.
At least think of it like that. We may not understand it, but think about it. Like me, I like thighs and I like butts. Not a lot of people like that kind of stuff, but oddly enough. But it's like you got at least like thinking about it from their perspective. That's not what they into.
Well, I mean, at least for that purpose, it's like there's reproduction involved and all that sort of stuff. But like, I just don't understand like inanimate objects and other things aren't supposed to be.
TJ, that's you. You didn't switch mics.
Wait, is my crappy mic?
Yeah.
Why didn't nobody say that earlier? What the fuck?
Because I didn't know where to fit it in. Doing it live, guys.
All right, is this better?
It's better. Oh, it probably is Nia, but she doesn't have her good mic, so we.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, it is probably me.
You have
I'm
headphones?
typing or something.
So I basically did this for nothing.
I can get my headphones. Let me see.
Yeah.
You're all beneath me.
Yeah, okay.
But what the? Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, man, you gotta think about it. It's like,
And again, there are fetishes we don't understand. Like, once upon a time, I didn't understand.
you guys ever? Yeah. You guys ever heard of white noise?
Okay,
Oh,
is this
ASMR.
better?
Hey, leave that alone. That is my term, so I get to explain it.
Well, welcome Syraxis back to the podcast, everybody. He been gone for a minute. Clap for you, boy.
He enters in the.
Fuck that bitch ass nigga. He owe me money. Okay,
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Dying to ditch
Well,
you. Worthless
welcome-
ass nigga.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
But no, Syraxis, explain what white noise is.
Oh
please.
god, here we go.
Oh
All
boy.
right, so white noise is the action of ejaculating semen to somebody's ear hole.
Oh.
Oh god. Oh, that. Oh, in that case, let me tell you what dragon's breath is.
Oh,
No.
Let me tell you what dragon's breath. For those who don't know, dragon's breath.
Can we not?
Hey,
Stop.
Wait.
we doing it
Are
live.
we
I don't want
with the
to.
LewdSquad
Are we-
Podcast? No
Are
holds
we
barred.
not? Are we not the Lewd Squad?
Exactly.
Okay, hold on. Is this mic working?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's on.
Okay.
Who knows?
So, dragon's breath is basically when the man comes inside a woman's mouth and there's so much that it comes out of her nose.
Oh, this fucking.
Oh,
Oh no, I know what to
Imagine
say.
The cummy snot bubbles.
You don't know what's coming, what's not.
That's that. Oh no, you just made it worse.
You don't want to at all.
All right,
like-
hold on. Back to the topic of feet. TJ, you were saying something like either you or Sean were saying something like
That yeah, but
that
hold on, that
penile contact with feet kind of like
Oh yeah, I was
making
like,
you feel like you're being stepped on. Although some
Oh.
people are into that kind of thing, you can honestly say the same thing about hands and like being punched in that area.
Yeah.
Oh god.
hold on. Okay,
Wait.
so you are right about that. Like,
The main thing that I don't really like about most things about people who like feet, or at least on the internet, is that they're never without like some sort of obsession to it.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
obsession how? Like,
Let's say that maybe like on a message board or something, like you can post a female character, and you see probably like one or two shitters in response to that saying like they want feet pics of that character.
That's so weird.
that story sounds specific. But
Specific.
Unearthing some like repressed memories there, buddy.
I mean, I was giving an example.
true. But that sounds like some artists would have that situation. Like, I want to see feet pics of Ratio or some shit.
Don't you fucking dare!
That's like,
You need to stop that. No, I mean, okay, wait. I would happily do it.
Not one artist. It isn't just one artist in the world that dedicates himself to feet.
Yeah, man, that's some
Yeah.
billionaire shit.
I think like asking for feet pics is probably than asking for me, to be honest.
Hey, yo, ma.
Like,
Hey, girl. Let me see them toes, bitch.
Like, what the fuck?
Hey, let me see you in a pair of sandals, girl.
I'll punch you in your
Anything
face if
you
you
could
say that.
ask
Like, Jesus.
anything you could have possibly asked for.
All the things, right? You
chose the
could have
one
asked
thing-
for some
You
tea.
chose the
could have
one
asked for
thing
some
that you
ass.
could probably see normally without asking.
I don't care if you want to see my hairy muff, but you asked for feet. Like,
Quote of the day from
Take that out of context with the
Put those
audio.
bazongas away.
yeah, make a soundboard of that.
that's gonna be on the soundboard once this channel.
Bazongas, no, put them shits away. I don't want to see the sweater puppies. Show me the sneaker puppies.
Show me the bunions, bitch!
Show me why those boots are made for walking.
Oh god, why?
Oh god, that
Sounds
sounds
gross.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, now do me a favor, alright? Clip your toenails and put it in my dinner. It's gonna be real sexy.
Oh
Trust me.
hell no! Okay, no. Now we're taking this out of context.
Oh no.
Now we're taking that out of context. That's a whole different level.
Nah, baby.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
That was pretty nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
They're very much one. Son of a bitch.
Futo's like, what the fuck did I walk into?
Next time y'all eat that shit, G. Next time y'all eat, think about that shit. Motherfuckers just clip their toenails in the back, put that shit in y'all food, bro.
And the sad part is somebody somewhere in this world has gotten hard to that shit.
Ugh.
If it exists, someone has
hey,
a
I mean,
fetish.
there's like a lady
Nice,
selling,
nice one.
if there's a lady that's selling like cakes and cupcakes that she's shitting it like inside of.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh,
God.
I wouldn't need to redirect all of you to the general chat. I posted a warning.
Oh
I
no,
swear to this what
Who
I
are you
think.
to censor us?
hold on, let me look at this. Oh, keep it clean. Keep it clean. I don't know. I mean, we are the Loot Squad, but TJ
You
kind
literally
of
named
took
the
it out
chat.
of context.
The first topic of the night, which you wanted to talk.
If anyone's this far, in already, and we're already saying keep it clean, they've already made the mistake of not reading the tags.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah. Welcome to the Loot Squad podcast.
Like I said, like I just said when Sir Access came in, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Okay, but like on the topic of like weird things like other than feet, you know what else is pretty odd? But you know what? I actually get it though. Armpit
What?
fucking.
Why?
I don't know. I just do. Like
I've
Yeah,
never.
like
First off, I've never even seen that. I didn't even know that was
Really? Oh, bro, with all the
hentai
hentai you watch and read,
I try to keep it normal. Like, okay, here's just ass fucking. Here's the tit fucking. Here's some.
A Toho fan's basic fetish.
Like,
Wait, wasn't that in one of the hentai bubbles we read? I think
Oh god.
Oh god.
Because it's like essentially this. I mean, you can assume that you fucking an armpit, but you basically just fucking the side of the titty too. Like in a way, like
yeah, man.
I mean,
like it's weird, but it's like it gets a little weird, like when they finish and like they just like, oh baby, open your armpits.
Oh, why you describe that shit like that? Why you say it like that? It's like right in the armpit. Ugh.
There's no other way to say that.
No matter how weird somebody's fetish is, it's always like it gets to like
on the
a
podcast.
really like higher level of understanding. Just like I wouldn't say that, but when you think about it, most fetishes like come from like some subconscious attraction to it, or like basically like their life having some point in which they like can use that as fuel for like something that they're into.
And then
like,
it sort of just
it always makes me ask, like, it always makes me wonder, like, when you look at like the whole female body, like what happened in somebody's life that they're mostly attracted to like the armpit other than anything else.
It's kind of it's something. It usually something happens early on, and somehow it just get crossed in when the puberty fairy, pays a visit.
Yeah, but
I mean, because like
Ko
has it's like no. Let me finish on this because Ko pointed this out a bunch of times, considering how there's so many cartoons out there that just give people the strangest fetishes.
Well, in the case of like Kira.
However, from
More than the matter of how, matter of why.
No, there's a matter of how and why, if anything.
Yeah.
Y'all the smart niggas, talk amongst yourself and explain
From
it to
like-
us.
however, from a physiological standpoint, I also have like read an article this one time that basically says like there's something in like sections of the brain that get mixed with each other, and that's why people like recognize like feet as kind of like an erogenous zone for them.
Mm-hmm.
I can say about. I can back that up rather, because again, it was a TED Talks like podcast that I was listening to, and the guy was saying the reason why people like transsexuals or futanari or anything like that is because they see the most when you watch porn, there's always three things that are focused, which is the tits, the ass, four things: the tits, the ass, the vagina, and the dick. When you see all those things, it turns on the person watching it. So if all three are on, if the tits, the ass, and the dick are on the woman, then that makes it better for the man and sometimes the woman too. And it just like it's like, oh, you have all three on one. That cuts out like the middleman or something.
It's like going back to the Fuda equation during an earlier podcast.
The Fuda equation.
Why?
That sounds like some shit like you think about when you reach a higher thinking.
because
like you sitting in the Dawson poles and shit, you floating and shit.
because the dude that made it went to college for that.
Like goddamn.
Simple geometry.
Yeah, it's and yeah, they'd be right, especially when it comes to dudes, because men
It's not rocket science, right?
Because men are very visually stimulated. We see something, and well, it's basically that simple.
I see what I like, basically.
Exactly.
I see what I want to fuck.
Now,
there's
there's
I don't go looking at people and immediately want to fuck them, but okay.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's like I see somebody sexy. It's like I don't want to say. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It's like damn. But no, fuck that. I know. Wait, I know it sounds odd, but it's like I see somebody.
I feel like
sexy,
you're two steps away from being outed as a sex offender.
Oh well, sometimes you gotta taste the pussy, man. Just like,
hold on.
Hey, hold on, wait.
Oh.
Hey,
This ain't a supermarket. You can't just have taste tests given out like that.
what
Like
the
that.
fuck you guys talking about, bro? This is clearly satire.
They call me
Yeah.
Young Costco.
What the fuck?
But nah, feet back. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, the psychological part I understand. I still just can't, personally, that is, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that you want your dick touching it. Because it's not erogenous towards me. Just towards me, though.
Yeah. Same here, but it's like I said, I just think about from their perspective, what
Little
they we all might be into some weird shit that we all not finna share with each other clearly, but it's just like, hey.
Yeah.
Allow me here to close out this question with this. We are not shaming your fetish. I just wanted to bring it up.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh no, I'm shaming. I'm super
Everybody except the dandelion.
Girl or the dude or the something with the task of getting you off with their foot. I feel sorry for them. That must be very hard, seeing as how we can't do the same thing monkeys. Their feet are basically fucking hands. Like, come on now.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but
why are we being sympathetic to such shit taste?
Somebody who has to carry it out, for real now. With your feet, you're handling a dick with your foot. How? How?
There obviously is an art form to that. It's a certain way in order for him to end up coming all over himself or some shit, or all over your feet.
Wait, what the fuck are we talking about?
We're still on foot fetishes.
Oh yes, but it just okay.
But all right, yeah. So we're not shaming you. If you're into prolapsing, then fine. It's weird, really weird, really weird. But okay, good for you.
We ain't gonna shame what you into, baby. That's what you into.
Stop.
So, with that, is everybody done with this topic, or?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Please.
All right. So, SSJ, your topic, which was also gaming related, what was that?
It's kind of something that sort of crosses me all the time, especially when there's always a new entry in a long-running series. It's something I dubbed the Final Fantasy VII syndrome. Which is basically how gaming, especially nowadays, is so nostalgia based. There's always this one game that attracts a major part of the fan base, and they consider it to be the greatest, the magnum opus of the entire series. Even when you look back at it and find out it's either A, dated, or B, there were just other games in the series that were either better than it, or maybe just did its job the same amount. And even though I refer to it as the Final Fantasy VII syndrome, it really applies to a lot of games, especially JRPGs. And by the way, disclaimer, I don't actually hate Final Fantasy VII.
Lies.
Somebody hates Final Fantasy VII? What? But
let's not get attacked by
it's a good game. The whole competition just blows shit out of proportion sometimes. And it's not even that. It's just Advent Children being a shitty movie.
Yeah,
and that's really the only reason. That's the only reason why people think Cloud is such a edgelord.
Emo protagonist.
Emo protagonist because of that movie. But if you actually pay attention to his dialogue and his character in the original Final Fantasy VII, he was like a really chipper, "fuck you, got mine" type of character.
A little, slightly moody.
Point behind
slightly moody, and that was really it.
It's a bit of yes and no with that, and I can't really say why. But hell, even with Final Fantasy VIII, Squall's not even as emo as most people would probably get, and he's just kind of stoic.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
He eventually breaks out of it though.
But the reason why we have this topic is simply because a lot of people like to, when things get older, when we start getting into our nostalgia boner, a lot of people like to put high praise on the older game, even though when that game was in the heyday, it was really shitty. Like for example, CVS2 and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Back in those games' heyday, when they first came out for arcades, people hated those games.
Yeah,
they was like, why would you want to play CVS2? Why would you want to play Third Strike? Those games are terribly unbalanced, or they have shitty design, or there's something wrong with those games. But 10, 15 years later, now we praise those games. Like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is the most praised game ever. And
just like what I said in the pre-stream, if that got recorded or not, I mentioned how like it's kind of funny how we see I see people going on all these anti-Nintendo tirades talking about how the Super Nintendo was like their last best system, and I'm just like, the Super Nintendo was wildly unpopular when it first came out.
exactly.
Yeah, it had a lot of good games for it, yes, but we're only realizing it had great games on it after the fact. Developers hated it, and it wasn't really. I'm not entirely aware if it was rather unpopular.
Are we talking about like when they first dropped it, like on like we talking like in the middle and towards like the last little bit.
Well, when I say Final Fantasy VII Syndrome, I just mean like that one game.
Nostalgia, guys.
Well, that one game in the series that everyone hails as the greatest, even at so many, and it really makes it a hassle for developers to really make a new game in that series because everyone wants to hold it up to like Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah. Yes, it's something about nostalgia that with this current generation of gaming that it has to be like the old, because what we remember is
and there's some relevance, and there's definitely a lot of relevance to me bringing up this topic because like my favorite JRPG series is Megami Tensei, and the reason why I'm saying Megami Tensei specifically is because all of it. If I said Shin Megami Tensei, people would probably think it's just mainline. If I say Persona, people will just think Persona. No, I'm saying Mega 10 as a whole, because fuck you, Persona's part of Mega 10.
Yeah.
Tirade over, because there's the two games in that franchise that everyone hails. It's Nocturne or Persona 3. And it's not because like those are the greatest games in the franchise. It's just because that's the game that everyone played first. Or at least played first for the most part. So, like, even though there's been new SMT games dropping mainline, everyone say, "Why is it not like Nocturne? Where's the 3D models? Where's Kaneko's artwork?" It's just like, and even though I still stand by what I said, that SMT 4 and Strange Journey did Nocturne's job better. And same thing with Persona 3. Just like Persona 3 was great at its points, but it has a lot of flaws to it. And it's kind of surprising that there are people still to this day that want a Persona 3 sequel.
But then again, like shit, it's not just like that with not just those games, but like I want to include like a few other ones too. It's like,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I say,
it's like not just like one game. It's like because we got a friend of ours that like won't even fucking like. He likes Persona, like he's been playing Persona 4 for a while. Like, he won't go play like other games, not just Persona games. I'm talking like other mainline stuff. It's like it's like there's more to it than just the one game that you play. You know what I'm saying?
And
it's a great game, but fucking explore it, motherfucker.
Yeah, what's the other? Or it's either that, or they just hold everything to such a crazy standard that everything is bad. Because like I said with the Persona scenario, just like I think 2 and 4 did a lot of 3 stuff better, but there's still people that bitterly refuse to admit that 3 might not be the greatest game.
But it is though.
Oh my god! So that's what I'm saying. Like 3, like people actually wanting a Persona 3 2. Not an FES, not a portable, but like a full-blown freaking sequel when there's nothing left in that game's story that you can really exhaust.
And
it really just boils down to a pissing contest. Like 4 got all these spin-offs. It's like, yeah, but not even Persona 4 fans wanted those spin-offs. But actually, Sir Axis, what were you saying about a prime example though?
Yeah, I was saying a prime example about that is just say this, people will keep telling me that Tales of Vesperia was.
I knew you were going to say a Tales game. It was either going to be Symphonia or Vesperia.
Like Symphonia is, it shows its age, but I like it a lot, and I don't really like the whole say the whole like shows its age thing. It's just. Yeah, take the game for what it is. I don't really hate any of them. Like Vesperia, like I'm sure it's good, and I actually wanted it a lot when it was on 360. But I doubt it's really like the masterpiece everybody usually paints it.
PS3 Vesperia. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just it happens with a lot of series. I mean, besides Megami Tensei, there's also and then there's like. Going off series, because like the reason why Nocturne gets circle jerked so much is obviously because it was the first mainline title in English. because and then I look at the Fire Emblem series, and it's basically exactly the same thing. All the English speaking fans circle jerk all over, the 7th game, which, the one with Elliewood in it and Lynn. And then there's the other Game Boy Advance games that came over solely just because, okay, I'm sure they're great games. I haven't gotten to them yet because I'm still playing Mystery of the Emblem. But I'm pretty sure, but I still say, like, most of your praise is most likely just coming from the fact that they were the first games available in English. Because Tokyo Mirage Sessions offers an interesting insight on the popularity of certain games between Japan and the US, because the reason why some of the Mirages, the way they do appear in that game, is due to a popularity poll. And TMS has it pretty split down the middle with characters from the first games, Mystery of the Emblem and Awakening. But then a bunch of my friends that played, that are English, that played from the Game Boy games are asking, like, where are the Game Boy Advance characters? Where's Lynn? Where's Elliewood? Where's Hector? I'm just like, well, popularity contest. So clearly the Super Famicom titles are more popular than the Game Boy Advance titles over there.
Another prime example as to why this is like, it's the whole nostalgia thing is Sonic the Hedgehog series. That game is having the series itself is having an identity crisis right now because it
very
doesn't
much
know.
So. I'm kind of disappointed that Sonic Forces is still going with the generation format. Does it really have to have Classic Sonic in it, even if Generations was a good game?
Again, identity crisis.
Yeah.
Half of the fans want the old classic 2D, while the other half want to keep the 3D format.
And that's why we got Sonic Mania. So.
And it's kind of getting to the point where it kind of aggravates me that people take that belief so hard that they think Classic Sonic is like his own individual character.
Yeah, that's another thing. But that's a problem with more of the Sonic Bible. The Sonic Bible is the reason why there's two different Sonics, because
the different continuities.
Yeah, they originally made that for other companies and content creators, such as when they made the cartoon, Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, and Sonic Underground.
Wait, which one? Sat AM or
both?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both.
They wanted them to go by these specific rules of these characters, and by the time Sonic Adventure was about to come out, they said when it came to Sega America's turn to help develop the game and localize the game, they kind of just threw the book out the window.
Yeah, then basically they just went with the Japanese continuity. That was it. That's why, it was Sonic was on Earth. Dr. Eggman was started referred to as Dr. Eggman, not Robotnik.
And that kind of had a reason to contribute to the nostalgia identity crisis the series is having, but for the most part, it's because there's two types of gameplay that fans want, and they're so arguing over each other that Sega doesn't know which one to make, because they've attempted to just try to make 3D games. Some of them were good.
Yeah,
to an extent.
But at the same point,
was the last good one.
But at the same time, it's just like they don't. In fact, the developer not knowing what the fans want due to this nostalgia is one thing that really aggravates me. Star Fox.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest prime example. Like, like we got all these fanboys that talk about how 64 was the best one, and all they demand is a 64 game. So Star Fox Zero, it's basically Star Fox 64 2.0, and people hated it. So I'm left wondering, it's just like, this is what you asked for, and you hate it. I can kind of understand the bitterness, because I mean, I'm bitter. I had to wait a whole console generation for this game, but I'm just like, it's all right, but you hate what you asked for.
It's what I asked for, but it's not what I got.
That's another thing, that now that game developers and game publishers taking advantage of the whole nostalgia thing, because now they turn it into a business format where we can just remake games or remaster those games because people want to replay those games, but they don't want to have to bring out those old consoles. So we can just take advantage of that and make money off of it by publishing it to the new console. And while that's nice and all, and it is, like, there are some really good remasters out there, some of them are not necessary.
Very lackluster.
Can I stop to say something about remasters? I'm sorry to butt in.
Sure.
But the whole remasters thing, like, with the way I'm seeing now with, like, most titles coming out now as remasters, if it's from an, like, entire generation ago and it, like, change of hardware and, like, graphical fidelity is not really, like, outdated between, like, the old console and the new console it's being ported to, I don't really think remastered should be the word. It should just be the game, but for PS4.
The last of like the reason why I didn't understand why them porting The Last of Us to PS4 really warranted a remaster in the title.
Like,
Game ain't been out a whole year.
When that game was just out on the previous console.
Again, like it was a great game. Like, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I
Like,
understand why they would want to port it over, especially since it came out relatively late in the lifespan. But I'm like, what the hell?
that's another thing that was
See,
fucking
now-
up. Yes,
with a good example of an actual remaster has to be Yakuza Kiwami.
I'm not sure. I'm not aware of the title, but of the title's name specifically. But I know what
it's
you're talking
pretty
about.
much- It's pretty much Yakuza one, but it's
Mhm.
remade for PS3 and
stuff.
PS4, and it uses a Zero's engine.
Yeah.
And
In fact,
it's not just like it's while the story may be 1-to-1, of course, graphical fidelity going from a PS2 game becoming like a PS4 game, a lot of things got changed to look better and everything. But the combat, because it came from because it's using stuff that they learned in Yakuza 0, it's a lot faster and it changes the way a lot of things are handled.
Yeah, it's kind of like how God Eater Resurrection is.
As opposed to like, let's say God of War 3 remastered for PS4, like even with Yakuza Kiwami, like lines and dialogue re-recorded, but with like God of War 3 remastered, all you're doing is just like
slapping a fresh coat of paint on something.
Just not even that. It's just like probably just upping the res a little and calling it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that goes
Yeah,
back
it's-
to what I was saying earlier. There's some remasters that just don't need to exist, like Modern Warfare remaster.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't need. It was overdue, but at the same time, kind of didn't need to exist because of the way Activision treated it. They, for one, they tied it behind, and this is more of a problem with the business model that was tied behind the game. If they had released it by itself, which is my first gripe with it, it would have sold a lot more. Activision would have been out the hole as far as Call of Duty series go. But they tied it behind the $80, $70-$80 version of the game, for one.
Yeah.
Two, they omitted content because they wanted to resell that content, such as the old map packs that you can already buy right now for PS3, because they didn't take out, for PS3 or 360, they didn't take out those map packs at all off the stores or anything. You can still buy those right now for a much cheaper price than having to repay for it on current gen and the remaster. 3, they started putting in microtransactions into the game, and that made it even worse because now it's falling into the whole slippery slope about microtransactions and Call of Duty being a bad game. And 4, they should, if they really wanted the game to be successful, they should have just released. That's our main thing. If they really wanted the game to be successful, and they wanted to get out this whole, they should have just released that on its own, not tied to Infinite Warfare. Another remaster is, at least in my opinion anyway, is the Ratchet and Clank remaster. I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. It is a really old game, and that it does warrant that reason to be remastered, but I felt like it wasn't the right time.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned Fire Emblem a minute ago. That's why like some remakes are looking pretty good. Like Fire Emblem Echoes, which is the newest game that's coming out. Like if you follow it, it's really, you find out it's just a Gaiden remake, and Gaiden being the second game in the series that came out on the Famicom. And something like that is definitely warranted, especially in giving it a massive update, because Fire Emblem Gaiden is really one of the roots of the entire franchise. Like the majority of the gameplay you see in this series is based off it. Well, that in the fourth game. So like a remake there is definitely warranted, and especially considering since that game was only released in Japan, this is the way for English speakers to get their hands on it. Not because I'm pretty sure Nintendo's never going to bring out those games on Virtual Console.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of don't like what they're doing with the remaster of the Crash Bandicoot games.
Where it's just a
Mainly
graphical
because-
update.
Mainly because the graphics of the level are somewhat good, but for most things they changed like the direction of like how they looked, and even Crash himself looks a little off. He looks a lot more fuzzy than he really should be depicted.
Kind of reminds me.
Oh, you talking about those freaking Crash games that came out that we don't talk about?
It kind of reminds me of how.
The remakes.
It kind of reminds me of those Banjo-Kazooie remasters that are on Xbox Live Arcade.
Even I'm glad you brought that up because even with the Conquer one, it was like a bit off.
Well, that Conquer one was kind of a bad thing to begin with, anyway. Like, not only it looked weird, but I still can't get over the fact that it was on Xbox. The original was on the Nintendo 64. Yet Microsoft censored their remake. And honestly, you can't really have Conker's Bad Fur Day without all the profanity. Because it's kind of like one of the reasons why the game is so well loved because of how crude it was.
But that game, it just got lost in the whole
it got
Microsoft
lost.
buying out Rare.
Well, that
remake that shit recently.
Yeah, well, that and Nintendo didn't really advertise Conker that well, mainly because they wanted to be extra sure that kids weren't going to buy the game because of how cartoonish it was.
Yeah, they did have some unique tactics for advertising in general.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Nintendo advertised Bayonetta 2.
Pretty much.
Another thing I don't like is when they claim it's a remaster or a remake for newer systems for gaming, it's done so lazily. The Sonic Adventure, the thing the port that came with
almost all the Sonic
PS3.
Actually, not just the PS3 port of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. The GameCube ports are
I'm saying that it eventually boiled down to it being a port of a port of a port.
Yeah.
And the Dreamcast version still looks like it is.
Yeah.
It's better of all of them.
Yeah, the Dreamcast version is still considered definitive.
Yeah, but
granted, there's mods, but holy shit, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, and I have something to say about the Skyrim remaster. Recently announced as of today, actually, the StarCraft remaster. Some of these when I think of remasters, usually because it's a nostalgia thing. A lot of the fans are asking for this, but some of them just don't. I don't see people asking for them. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere that's asking for it, but I don't see enough popularity for a remaster that it warrants a remaster, regardless of how old the game is. You don't see we still don't see a Super Metroid remaster or anything like that, or any Metroid remaster.
It's right there it's right there on Virtual Console too.
Right, but
we got the Metroid. Although we got the Metroid Prime trilogy that was on the Wii, and that's basically as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there are people asking for it, but
yeah, just like how there are people that are asking for a Paper Mario Thousand Year Door HD remake, and it's gonna be a while, even though the developers of the game said they would love to do it.
Yeah. So it's just the whole nostalgia thing, what we call the Final Fantasy VII syndrome, is fallen into a point where the game developers can take advantage of it, and then the fans, if there isn't a remake for it, they'll just praise the hell out of it, even though in its heyday it was just really
it's in fact there was I think one game that kind of epitomizes it would be GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, definitely GoldenEye.
GoldenEye was a trailblazer at its time, but when you look at it now, it was terrible. It's terrible.
Exactly.
And I still see a couple old friends of mine still saying it's oh man, this game was so fucking awesome. And just it was awesome when you were a kid, but when you compare it to when you were other shooters, it's not good. In fact, this is why I'm actually really happy about the Final Fantasy VII remake, because it's a complete overhaul of the game.
Right, they're redoing the game design.
New graphics, a new game engine, adding new content to the story. It's setting up to be what a remake can be, because Final Fantasy VII, it's very dated when you look back at it. The graphics and how static the gameplay is. I love turn-based RPGs too, but there comes to be a point where it just gets a little boring. And what's kind of funny about how I opened up the floor with this talk about nostalgia for one game, I've met. More and more people I've seen are coming out the woodwork saying that they don't like the idea of the Final Fantasy VII remake because it's not a one-to-one, the original game, everything intact, just with new graphics.
Well, it goes back to the whole thing about What goes back to the thing about using the word remaster and then using director's cut. This is more. It's the lines are starting to get blurred as far as Final Fantasy VII goes, and I'm sure some remakes as well. When you start changing how the game was designed and try to improve it or make it a better system, then it starts becoming a director's cut. Like for example, going back to Sonic the Hedgehog series, Sonic Adventure, the original and then the GameCube version, that was called director's cut. Even though it was a remake of the series, it was a director's cut because they added in content. They changed things around.
It was still a port, but yeah, it had alternate content. It had like some of the some Game Gear games you could play. It had that mission mode.
Plus, when it came out, it was still sort of new enough to say
it was still fair. Yeah, it was still fairly recent, kind of like with Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, where it came out like roughly a year or two after the original came out when the Dreamcast went under.
Right. So, going back to that, you would say that Final Fantasy VII. Even though we've wanted a remaster forever, we've wanted a remaster since for at least 10 years now because of the tech demo that came out for PS3 in 2006 for that game. We've asked for it for so long, but it's kind of hard to call it a remaster because they're changing a lot about the game and adding more to it that it should be more called of a director's cut, a definitive version of Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
Yeah, it's. And then there's, I don't know how I really can bring it in, but what I mentioned before the podcast kicked off was how, like, on the opposite end of this whole thing, there are the people that are so bitter about the game getting popular and shit, so they get, really mad. Like, like we all know Cloud's in Smash now, and that was a complete and total left field to everyone. And, one of the primary reasons for that is the fact that Cloud, it wasn't even in it was in a Final Fantasy game that was basically a middle finger to Nintendo. But I said this to Siraxis. It's just like, well, like it or not, he's basically the face of the franchise now because like 7 got that popular. 7 kind of broke some new ground in terms of it. Yeah, they could add Warrior of Light. They could add, like the dudes from 4 or 5 or like from actual Nintendo release, Final Fantasy games on Nintendo systems, but it's just like, no, like obviously they had to go for the maximum popularity, so it makes sense.
Exactly.
And it's really not that big of a deal.
It was just they just wanted the game to sell, and they had to put the poster child on there. Well, one of the poster child to Final Fantasy on there.
Also a bit of a promotion, like once again bringing back Fire Emblem. That's exactly how Fire Emblem characters work in Smash. They go with the OG Marth, and then they go with the main character of the new game to promote. That's what Roy was in Melee. He was a promotion for his game that wasn't even out yet. That's why in Smash 4 saw 2 Fire Emblem games come out in its lifespan. That's why we have Lucina, Robin, and Corrin.
Right. So, what does everybody else think about just remasters and nostalgia with the current gaming generation?
As someone who haven't had like a lot of video games growing up, despite my background, I haven't really. I had like bad situations and so. It was usually like I would have to be the luck of the fucking draw. I would have to just get like a really good $20 bargain bin video game. Games that were $50, that was like a hell no to. So I really had to pick and choose what I wanted to get, and so which is why I'm usually fine with whatever I pick. Like I hear a bunch of shit being thrown at Andromeda. I'm like, it's a decent game. I mean, it may not be up to your standards with all the animation, but fuck, I'm used to it. And there's shit like, I mean, as far as continuing on, like Kingdom Hearts, I've only owned Kingdom Hearts 1, and that was on the PS2. My PS2 is fucking gone. I don't know where it went. That shit is just gone. I brought it over our cousin's house, never saw it again, never saw Kingdom Hearts again. I probably have only one PS2 game that's still surviving in my closet, and that's God of War 1. I'm not gonna fucking play God of War 1, and I'm not gonna buy another fucking PS2. So what do I got now, huh? The Kingdom Hearts coming out for like PS4. A lot of people throwing shit at it, saying, "Oh, you're re-releasing the same old bullshit content." I never got a chance to play those games on those. So did you force me to buy a whole ass new console just to play that goddamn?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, I would say in that regard, people saying, "Oh, you're reusing the same shit a little too much" without even understanding things. Like either A, they don't understand the concept of the situation, or B, they just don't know that the game has new content. I mean, in terms of the Kingdom Hearts related thing, well, 1.5 and 2.5 were separate games and released at the tail end of the PS3. So them releasing the whole PS4 collection
Sorry about that, guys. I went to go get some yogurt.
it's actually a pretty good marketing strategy, especially considering that 2.8 and Kingdom Hearts 3 are going to be out on the PS4. So here's the entire franchise on one console.
Exactly, and that's the same thing with the Ratchet and Clank remastered. Even though I didn't feel like it was necessary,
I welcomed the Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I played the original Ratchet and Clank on PS2, and when I saw they were redoing it with all these colorful things, I fucking loved it. I didn't hate it. I fucking loved the fact that they brought. The game was really fun to me. And then people who are just downcasting, saying that you're just using old.
Well, I'm not saying it like that. I just felt like
different. I'm just stressing my point.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
I mean, hell, in terms of remakes that I'm welcoming because of my situations, in Atlas news, one of the Shin Megami Tensei projects that Atlas is working on is a remake of Strange Journey that was on the DS, and that came out in like 2009. And I didn't play Strange Journey for whatever reason, so I emulated it, and I'm like, well, I like it, but I can't really get into it because of how dated it feels. Because like no voice acting, I'm spoiled by Persona, so everything feels oddly, creepily mute, and there's some mechanics that were kind of a mess. So now Atlas steps in. Oh, here's Shin Megami Tensei Deep Strange Journey. It's on the 3DS. We're overhauling it, giving it new artwork, new voice acting. Yeah, we're making it quote unquote easier to play, which I think might mean they're making the dungeon crawling a little bit easier to understand. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, I can just get this, even though it's going to be $10 more expensive.
Yeah, that's where I stand on the whole mastering and things. I mean, 7 came. I think Final Fantasy 7. That situation became out of control and just a.
Well, it got out of
but
control.
now it's like the perfect time because it's his 20th
20
anniversary.
years.
Yes,
20 years have gone by. 20 years have gone by. Everyone's been wanting it. Yeah.
50 years have passed.
Yeah.
Nomura and a bunch of other people from Square were saying oh, we'll get to this remake as soon as we finish Final Fantasy 15. And look, Final Fantasy 15 got finished finally.
And I really think, for real now, expectations will not be met because.
Oh yeah, like I said,
put it on this pedestal that it should have never been on in the first place.
Yeah, like I said a minute ago, expectations are already not being met because it's not a 1-to-1 remake. It plays like an action RPG, and people don't like that. And like what I said with Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time. I mean, I don't want to sound like ego raptor here, but Ocarina of Time is on this massive pedestal, so every other Zelda game that shows up has to be compared to it. And I'm someone that liked Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time, so I feel terrible about it.
That and Wind Waker.
Well, Wind Waker is kind of
any of the Zeldas.
I mean,
Twilight Princess.
I mean, Wind Waker is kind of on its own issue. In fact, when I talked about the Super Nintendo, Wind Waker has the same situation. Look, Wind Waker was a great game. But I feel like everyone that says it's a modern day classic were probably the people that hated the game when it first came out because of its art style.
Well, the difference between that and those people and me is that was that was my first Zelda game.
Well, yeah. In fact, that's kind of where
Even
this.
If to throw that bias out.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like what the Final Fantasy VII syndrome is all about, because Siraxis brought up the Tales of series, and the Tales of series is a franchise that reeks of it. In fact, Tales of Threads on 4chan basically have this running gag. The first game is always going to be the one you like, and everything else is going to be crap. In fact, another Discord I'm in is basically it devolves into that a lot of times because I got one friend that loves Tales of Graces, and I got one friend that really likes Tales of Xillia, so they're always bumping heads over which game is better.
Definitely. What were you going to say, Siraxis?
I wanted to say, in response to what Kobe was talking about earlier with the whole Kingdom Hearts HD collections. Yeah, I don't like it when people like shit talk or badmouth collections for just existing, saying that they're rehashing it.
Hmm.
But sometimes when they do remasters, and what I'm saying right now is a good example of that, when they don't meet the level of like, when they don't meet the level like or the threshold that is acceptable for what it's being ported to.
Yeah.
Before I go any further with this, 1.5 and 2.5 has like a set of gameplay that came out, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest change to this is that, unlike the ones that came out for PS3, these actually have faster loading times and they run at 60 frames per second now.
Oh yeah. The PS4 collection is an upgrade, and all that shit flinging is just from people that don't get it.
No, but see,
Well,
the thing is, the load times could have easily been as fast as, or at least as fast
on
as they
PS3.
possibly could have been if they just like did some sort of patch that allowed like installing game data to the hard drive. The
Mhm.
fact that they have to change it now with a completely different HD collection you have to buy, it's not really okay, but it's the least.
Yeah.
However, with the 60 frames per second, um, while the animation sometimes look a bit interpolated or just distorted sometimes, because of the 60 frames per second change, and apparently it being done so shoddily, moves come out from enemies that have weird behavior that they shouldn't.
Hmm.
Meaning, what I'm trying to get at is like some enemies move twice as fast now when they really shouldn't, and that's because like they were locked to 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
I understand how that.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mind it when people shit talk it, but like if you're gonna do a HD collection and if you're gonna do a port for like a higher fidelity system, do it fucking right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of goes into all the like the optimization problems with any type of port
I mean,
or remake or whatever.
I've heard like games sometimes break if the frame rate varies. I think I read it somewhere on the internet. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think GTA 5's physics engine is tied to the frames per second. So if you're fucking up on frames, so do the physics.
Yeah, some in fact, what I've seen is some games with cinematics that were made for the frame rate act like this, like with Tales of Zestiria, because it was the first Tales game to go on PC. So naturally, PC mustard race. It's like, hey, let's make a mod that makes their game run at 60 frames per second. Let's totally forget about like one of the legitimate problems of the game being its fucking shitty ass camera. So like, yeah, okay, they now have a game that runs at 60 frames per second. But guess what? All the cutscenes in the game are completely fucked because they were made for a game that was optimized at 30.
That's exactly, and that's a problem that you also run into on emulators. If you just emulate,
Yeah, in fact, yeah, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, like there's mods for the emulated versions of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix to run at 60 frames per second, but the cutscenes being all fucked up, it's the same thing.
Same thing with Final Fantasy X when they when fans try to Square Enix explained the reason why you shouldn't the reason behind the reason not the reason but the process of remastering it when they tried to bring it to a 16:9 format for 4:3 and have it at a higher resolution. Back then, the way they made their games was that when it comes to a cutscene, all the character models were there, but they did not do anything. They just stand static in a certain position until it was their time to come into the frame, or the frame came up on them. But
yeah,
with the frame being widescreen and there's more being shown on the screen, you would see that they're just standing there until their script comes into play.
I figured that's how it worked.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
So they would just have to re-edit it, which is one of the reasons why why game developers warrant a remaster if they do make the decision to remaster, is because it's on old technology, past generation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Final Fantasy syndrome is just it has taken this generation of gaming by storm.
It's kind of it along with the rest of nostalgia is kind of blown out of proportion.
Yeah, but it has to be done with great care, and it has to have a real good reason as to why. Because some of them
Mhm.
just feel unnecessary, or they'll just mess up somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like with that.
Hello, somebody just say something?
No, he had to me one BRB. It's kind of like how I mentioned in the previous podcast with indie games, how they rely way too much on nostalgia to the point where it's just like, oh, it's a game. Like, sure, it's retro as hell, but it's not a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like we've talked about this topic enough.
Yeah. Any lasting thoughts or anything on this topic?
Fuck. Next topic.
All right.
Final
So
Fantasy VII is the best in the series. Not just going to get better. Persona 3 is the god form of the goddamn game. And yeah, it's like just stay with the games that you like. We don't worry about the new games that come out because they're going to be shit.
Right click, server like server mute. Yeah, I'm just shitting.
But no, yeah, let's move on.
all right. So TJ, you brought up yesterday about art history, since this is like this Discord server is pretty much a bunch of artists that draw just art in general. That come together. There's some of us that don't draw art. Like for me, I'm more of a photographer slash content creator. So, but that doesn't mean that this is this doesn't mean it's not artistic. But I don't physically draw. So,
just
TJ, you wanted to just have everybody go over their art history, like what they got into drawing in the first place and how they are today.
Basically, stuff like that, like just like a general conversation about art and what it means to you, you know. And how like it can affect you as a person, and like, you know, just stuff like that, you know, like why do you love like doing the things you do, like take pictures, record stuff, write, you know, not just that, just like a general discussion about art, you know, and I feel like
what happens to the podcast?
that one does, you know, tell me, is that Carter in the back?
Yeah.
tell him we heard him. He's
special. Carter, they say they hear you.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so like,
that's
wait,
as
Carter,
good as
it's
it gets.
11 o'clock. I'm surprised you're still awake.
Yeah, barely.
Oh, okay, well, tell him he can go to sleep. He sleeps now.
They told you to go to sleep.
Don't tell him what I said, how I said it. He can go to sleep, he sleeps.
You can go to sleepy sleeps. He corrected me. He's not listening. He's watching your playthroughs.
Okay, but anyway, so yeah. So for as long as you guys been knowing me, you know, art's always been my thing, you know. I've been drawing since like the age of fucking. I mean, back when I was in grade school, I used to do like little stickmans and stuff, like, you know, little small stuff like that. But I didn't really start getting serious about drawing all the way up until like 2009, by the time I got in high school. You know, so it was like, you know, it was always like my big hobby, you know, something I always like, you know, drew to me. Like I used to draw a lot of Sonic stuff. Like, you know, I mentioned this before. I used to be pretty big on Sonic, or just like, you know, like Dragon Ball Z stick figures. What I used to do, I used to like draw things and just cut them out and just like use those as like toys, like paper cutouts, and you just play with them.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like because I had toys, but it was like, it'll be cool. Like I used to just like something about making stuff, man. Just always just been big to me, you know. Like I feel like, you know, it'll be cool if I made this, and it'll be cool if I made that, you know. So it was like. And then I used to also get like, you guys know what pipe cleaners are, right? Those like little fuzzy things. Yeah. I used to make stuff out of those too. I used to like make all types of DBZ characters, like, and they used to look legit too. I used to make Boo. I used to make like Gogeta a lot, and Vegito. Yeah, those things were just pretty fun. But like life really changed for me by the time I discovered digital art. And my mom bought me my first tablet, which was a Wacom Bamboo tablet. It was for like my I think it was for my 14th birthday party. Yeah, it was for my 14th birthday party. And it was like, I'm like, oh my fucking God, Mom, you just don't understand. Thank you so much. Cause it's like how I used to draw. I used to like when I was getting decent, I used to draw on paper, take a picture of it, and then like put it into like the computer and just like trace over it. But but like I said, like I needed a tablet in order to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And then like by the time I started like using it more and more, because it takes a minute. Like when you first get a drawing tablet, it's gonna take a minute to get used to, because it's like, oh man, I gotta look up while I'm drawing. It's like it's kind of weird. People still can't believe how I'm able to do this. Like it's easier than you think, you know?
Right.
And it's just like, oh my, like from that day forth, like, you know, that really just like changed me, you know, as like the person I like changed. It really changed me a lot. So it's like, yo, art, like creating stuff is just so freaking cool, man. Not just to show people, but just the fact that like you can look at something and say, damn, I made that, you know what I'm saying? What if it's just taking a really good picture, writing a really bomb ass story, you know what I'm saying? Anything. Like I take pride in what I do, you know. I know I might not be the best, but it's like, damn, I'm still improving. Like I get better and better every time I do stuff. So it's like I ain't gonna get exactly where I'm at, but it's like I can get, you know, close enough. Art, that shit builds character, man. You know, that's why I really like it. You know, it builds character like hard as hell. You know, no matter what it is that you do. And it's just like, oh man. Then like looking at stuff like anime, comic books especially, because comics play like a big role in like my inspiration and stuff. A lot of Western stuff and Japanese stuff too. So that's like, if you guys like look at my art style, like, you can see like you know, where I take bits and pieces from. I got like a bit of a cartoon anime art style. So it's like I try to take bits and pieces from things that I you know, that I like, you know, but mainly comics. You know, just like finding like the thing is like sometimes you can't just go looking for inspiration. I mean, you can, but that, for me at least, it's like I feel like I won't find it until it hits me. Like, does anybody else like go feel the same way? Like, you won't be able to find inspiration until it hits you. You know, so like yeah, so it's just like it give you like the inspiration to like work on like something like a drawing or a comic. I ain't finna talk about because I got a bad history working on that shit. Yeah, damn it. I had like a comic I done rebooted like 3 times because I never really had.
Oh, you want to talk about that, Kobe? Kobe, remember high school with West and King? We had to make that comic, and that shit kept derailing like extra fast.
I still talk to that nigga to this day. Now he wants to do something with Super King. Let's not talk about King.
But nah, man. My thing is like I don't know, like sometimes I feel like I ain't really like making the comic might not be for me, but it's like I still want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like until I actually sit down and do it, I never know what the hell is gonna be down for me. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Yeah.
And it's just man, art's been like helping me a lot. It's like, man, now so I'm actually like, you know, I just started getting commissions like, you know, about like a little over like a year and a half ago. So it was like, man, now it feels great to actually get paid to do the stuff that you love to do, man. That shit's great. You know, I've been able to pay bills and shit. You know, I'm renting out of my mom, like this building that my mom got. So it was like, you know, at least to do about at least a couple commissions by the end of towards the end of the month, like, you know, help me like pay for bills and, you know, pay say if I need to get my PSN back or if I need to you know, like pay for Netflix or some shit, just move it onto my card and I'm good, you know? And it's like, man, just like creating, man. I don't know, man. It's really deep in my heart. And it's like sometimes I'll be like, man, I feel like I can't do this forever, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, I can't let that shit stop me, man. Just like I love it so much. And I met so many great friends because of that. I met so many great people. Like half the people in this Discord, like honestly, if it wasn't for drawing, Sean, Kobe, I would have never not have met you guys. Cause it's like it's weird because like I met you guys through Carter and Anae, and it's like
if I didn't go to that con, you would have never saw me.
True. But like no, see if I would have never like walked up to like my friends Carter and Anae, and saw them niggas drawing, I'm like, hey yo, y'all draw? Hey, what it do? I draw too. Come on, let's draw some shit.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I think I met So you guys just showed you guys my sketchbook.
Yeah, man, it's just art. I feel like, man, if I can like relate to somebody, like, even if you just create something, like, that's like, yo, like you my guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I can relate. I relate to people who create stuff more than like anybody who just like plays video games like me too. So like anybody can play video games, but like I feel like I can't really like relate to you on that type of level. My thing is like if you can't like if I don't know if you don't make nothing, I feel like I can't really like relate. Like I'll try, like we still can be like really bomb ass friends, but I can't really just like like it sounds weird, but it's like I don't I can't really hang out with somebody they don't draw or just like create. Like not to sound like a dick or anything. Like fuck, but it's not that's what exactly what it sounds like. Like yeah, I fucks with you, but like if you can't, yeah, y'all get it.
Yeah.
And and so speaking about like arts stuff, like I want to talk about like some of my favorite artists and stuff too, not just like the not just like internet artists, but popular artists like that's like in the industry and stuff too.
Right.
One of my current favorite artists is he go by the name of Frank Cho. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. He does comic book work and he draws very beautiful women. He has a book made. I was thinking about buying soon. He draws very beautiful women and he draws them pretty thick too, like muscly thick. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like yeah, I love his work. So like anybody watching this on like here on the stream or like on YouTube, look up Frank Cho if you don't know about him. He's a bomb ass artist. And there's a couple of like internet artists that I'm friend. So of course I'm friends with them. It's like I like their art and stuff too. Like my buddy Gastric Tank from off Tumblr. I met him off of Tumblr. He draws this like very cute cartoony style, but like it still can be sexy in a way. If you guys look at his art, it's so awesome. It's like I try to like look at like a lot of my friends' art and take inspiration from that, because it's like I feel like I can learn something from from each and every one of my friends that draw. Regardless like what level you're on. If I see that something like in your art that you like, I say, hey yo, show me how to do that. Because it's like to me, there's no such thing as like bad art. I mean, yeah, there's bad art, but it's like if you keep working on it, no matter what it is, like you're going to get better. Because if you guys seen how my stuff used to be back, at least about a couple years ago, it's like you guys wouldn't believe like where I'm at. It's like pose my level, like Syraxis and SJ here, like with no, what I'm saying, most because they've been with me since like the beginning of my art journey. Like yeah, I may draw like at the time like I may have drawn good to them, but like seeing compared to how I am now, like yeah, fuck that who I used to be, because my drawings were shit. Well they it kind of like defeat the purpose of what I just said. Like they weren't shit. They just like weren't like at I didn't know much. I feel like thinking about art too. Like it's a thought process that goes into it, a lot of brain power. It isn't just like putting lines on a paper. It's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of things you need to learn before you want to get into like saying like, oh man, I want to make this dope ass comic. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can make a comic, but it's like all depends on how you want it to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want, certain you want like the visual to be a big part of it, or you just like want to draw, like tell a story. You know what I'm saying, with the characters, all depends on how you do it. Just like a lot goes into art, you know what I'm saying? I just don't really like it when people just say, oh, you just draw? Excuse me. Like, oh, you just draw? That's the easiest thing ever. I was like, nah, not really. It's like a lot of maybe blood, sweat probably, tears maybe goes into this. Goes into like art, and it's such, it can be kind of stressful at times, especially if you like using it as like your main way of like how you eat and live and stuff. Like I ain't got to that point just yet, although I would love to. I'm working on that. But it's like if you just use it as like your main job, it's like it can be fun, but also stressful at times, because it's like a lot goes into it, man. Just I don't like I really don't like it when a lot of people just say like, oh, drawing is just drawing. It's like, nah, man. Creating anything can be hard in type of way. Well, if there's like a photo that you want to take, but it's like you got to take it either at a certain angle, at this time of the day, You know what I'm saying? Make sure the filters look good or whatever you're putting on it. You know what I'm saying? There's a thought process and there's skill. There's skill in any type of thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can take good ass pictures. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can take a picture, but it's like, you know, there's a reason why photographers exist. You know, there could be some really bomb ass photographers out there.
I can attest to that. Well, do you want me to do that after you finish?
Let me finish up with this. What I was gonna say, like, even going on to the point of writing, you know, I dove into writing a little bit, but my writing is trash. Not you know what I'm saying, not saying the fact that it's like I'm not really good with pacing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like to get straight to the point, and it kind of just like kills everything a lot. Like SSJ and Siraxis here, they're like a really bomb ass writers, so it's like whenever like I want to like work on something, I go straight to them first because it's like I know how I want it to go down, but these guys can put it in better words than I can. If you give it to me, it's like they put things in better words. They put it in words better than I can. I can say some shit like, oh well, this guy walks down a hallway and gets into a fight. They put it like this guy walks down the hallway, bumps into somebody, they exchange words and they begin fighting. If you get what you know, saying to put it in simple terms like that. It's just man, just like content creating. Period. It's I love it so much. And like, and if like anybody listening to this, if you like draw or if you just starting out, if you like in drawing, taking pictures, writing, whatever, like. If you sometimes feel like you don't like what you do right now, but you still having fun with it, just keep at it. Like you're gonna get at a point that you can look back at your old stuff and just be like, wow, damn, I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm way better than what I was before. It's just like there's some things that you will need to learn. Not might, but it's like all depending. Like I said, there's some things you will need to learn along your road, you know what I'm saying, as a creator. So it's like look some things up, read some books. You know what I'm saying? Educate yourself on the things you're trying to do, because it's like it ain't just gonna come to you like that. That's why, like going back to what I said, people who don't draw things is just that easy. Like no, it's a thought process, man. But like
kill the inspiration music in the background.
Yeah, but like, what you gonna say, Seal?
Well, I was gonna say like I can attest to how going with what you said about photography and like, oh, you just take pictures and stuff, and the same thing how you say, oh, you just draw. There is a lot of work that goes in around to photography. I took a photography class when I first went to my community college, Wright College, Sage College, Chicago. One of the first classes I took as my elective was photography because I wanted to get into it. And it's not just taking pictures. There's a lot of pre-work and post-work that goes into taking digital photography. First, you have to make sure, like, if you have to have an image of what exactly you want to see and what artistic style you want. If you want this image to have a certain message to it or not. On top of that, you have to start getting the objects that you want in together as well. Once you've got on that together, then you have to start messing around with the camera and how you're gonna do it, what angles will help project the image that you had in your head when you first came up with the idea.
Right.
Once you've done that, and you have to do like a lot of those, like at least when you're taking a photo, the rule of thumb is, for me anyway, my rule of thumb is if I'm taking a photo, I take at least 60 to 80 photos. If it's something that I really want in my portfolio that I want to show off, I have to take at least 60 to 120 photos. Because you'll never know what image you sort through all those images. You'll never know which one is like really good. That'll be like that one, that it is. Even if it's just subtle, like okay, somebody's arm was just an inch or 5 inches or a foot higher than the other photos, then you'll see that and you're like, that's the one. That's what I want to use. That's why I take so many photos, and why photographers, they have huge SD cards, because they have to take a lot of these images at a raw format.
Right.
On top of that, once you've gotten your image and sorted through all the photos you want and gotten to your image, you have to put it through Photoshop and you have to do post-processing. Are there any visual effects that you can use? Can you change the coloring to this photo? There's a lot of things that you have to do to that. It's not just taking a photo. Most people think of taking a photo because of digital cameras, not DSLRs, not digital cameras and DSLR. Point and shoot cameras, cell phone cameras, smartphone cameras. It's not just that. because those are only for just in the moment. Yes, the best camera is the one that is right there in front of you, is right with you, but really when it comes to actual art photography, digital photography, you want to set it up. You want to set up your image. But
I like oh wait, what were you gonna say? Continue.
Well, go ahead and continue.
I was just gonna say, like, I actually love cosplay photographers, because it's like when like, especially those photographers that puts like this type of ambience into like their pictures and stuff. It's just like,
Right.
oh my god, it looks so
And
damn
that's
awesome.
actually
Like,
the field that I want to get into. Seeing not only do I cosplay, that I started cosplaying 2 years ago, but also I want to get into cosplay photography, because there's always this. The main thing about me with photography and art is that I've always wanted to see these epic images that shows like, it shows a character just by looking at it. When you look at the image, it defines who they are. You see exactly who they are just from that photo, even if you know nothing about them. Like,
the character just pops out from the picture itself.
Right.
You know?
One of my favorite styles of photos are face portraits. But when you do a face portrait, you show their eyes. You want them close on their eyes or on their facial expressions, because it shows them exactly who they are. What if you can just sympathize with them, like, or connect with them, like, oh, I've seen what he's gone through, or I see what he's going through, or a certain position or certain pose where it's like, okay, somebody's standing in the forest, but the forest is like, half the forest is burned down, the other half isn't, and the person is standing in the middle of that. See, that's an image right there. That shows that this person, not the image, the forest representing that this person is divided, because half of the forest is destroyed, the other half isn't. And the person standing in the middle shows the divide. That person could be feeling the same way. Half of him is destroyed, half of him is still alive, and he's trying to figure out how to balance the two. That's the image right there that I just came up with. And there's a lot of setup to that, because you have to figure out, okay, where am I going to find a half-burned forest or something like that, or I'm just going to have to improvise with that. But yeah, that's the reason why, going back to cosplay photography, that's the reason why I like doing photography, is because I like the setup and really the payoff. It's the payoff that brings me tonight, that attracts me to photography. Once I've gotten everything in together and taken the photos and finished it, I can look back and I say, this is exactly what I imagined when I first came up with the idea. This is the exact image that I wanted when I first came up with the idea, and that's what I enjoy about it the most. Other things for art for me in general, I am also, as you know, just by watching this Twitch channel, watching this YouTube channel, I also like creating videos. It's just been, really, it's gone back to when I first got access to the internet, when I was in 7th, 8th grade. I downloaded, well, first I discovered YouTube, and I discovered a lot of YouTube. I was back in, well, I call it the heyday of YouTube, with YouTube poop, when YouTube poop was like extra popular.
Yeah.
When it's like when it was when it was a lot of Zelda CDI.
Yeah.
Die.
Oh, I miss those days. It was when I first discovered Super Mario Bros. Z. When I first discovered YouTube poop, and then
it's kind of when I got onto YouTube as well.
Yeah. After a while, I was like, I wanted to create a video, so I went around like, I wonder what video editing software I can find. I messed around with Windows Movie Maker, and then I messed around with my dad had a copy of Sony Vegas, because he used it for like when he makes our own videos and he puts it on the computer. So I saw it on my computer and I just messed around and dicked around with it, and I was like, no, video editing is actually really fun. And then I wanted to make videos, but there was no inspiration to drive behind it. It was just, besides the fact that it was fun, until I discovered a YouTube Let's Player called Chunka Conroy.
Oh, here we go.
And when I discovered him, well, this is right. And by the way, it's almost been 10 years since he's been doing Let's Play.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good lord. But I discovered Chunka Conroy when he was doing his Wind Waker LP, and that was a long time ago, by the way.
Very long.
And I just liked his enthusiasm and his information, and that drove me to like, I want to make videos about, I want to make informative Let's Plays of YouTube, of video games on YouTube. And I attempted to drive at that, but I was still young. I was only like 12, 13 years old at the time. 11, 12, 13 years old at the time. I didn't know the first thing about making videos and having a script together, having all this information you need for that video, recording software, having good public speaking. I didn't know all about that. When I go back to now, I still don't have the public speaking skills, but I now have more access to the tools I need to start making videos. I use notes and I just start typing down words for my script, and then I record it through Audacity, and then I record my gameplay through. Right now, all my gameplay is from PlayStation 4 on my PC. I don't have a capture card. If I did, I would record some other consoles as well. But the main drive for me doing that was not only just because of Chocolate Conroy, but because I want to record me enjoying myself and having fun, and have other people watch me enjoy myself, because that means that are also enjoying my company. It's like making friends. When you play friends video games, you enjoy each other's company, and that's my philosophy with video games. With recording video game videos on YouTube, I want other people to enjoy my company. I want you guys to be friends with me, not friends like personally, but
be close to the creator.
Right, be close to the creator, relate to him, ask questions, etc., etc.
Oh yeah.
And I also want to be informative too, which is why I also make guide videos on my channel, or I make news videos and stuff like that, because I also want to help out people, because there are a lot of people that they don't have access to information, or the information that they do find is like sketchy, and I want to be like one-to-one. Here's what I want you guys to know, which is why I love Chocolate Conroy so much, because this is what you need to know. These are the secrets you need to this section of the game, etc., etc.
Right.
So that's my history with content creating, and yeah, that's it.
Let's do what?
Let's actually. Well, actually, let's have Inario, because she hasn't talked for like a long time in this podcast.
I don't think she's there. It's probably.
I am here. I was just kind of AFK.
Oh, okay. So, like, what are your thoughts on like?
What is your history, your background with art?
Right.
With art, hold on. Let me put my microphone in.
We got technical difficulties.
Please wait warmly.
Let me
All right, here we go.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you a little something.
Stop.
But basically, yeah, I was with art history, just in general. I think that this first started just from being a weird kid with like nothing else to do besides to draw, and eventually just going to school and drawing stuff. And people, oh, you should be an artist when you go. Then eventually, it eventually goes to that point where, like, in grade school, you, like, draw stuff on the corner of your paper or whatever.
Right.
Like, your teacher has to confiscate your sketchbook or whatever because you were drawing in class instead of paying attention. That feel.
My teachers knew better than that. That's my shit.
I remember when, just side note, I remember when Carter got shit for that. Not from the teachers, but from the students. Because they used to always just run him over, like, why you always draw? He's drawing all the time. Why don't you
all right, so you guys went to high school together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's always like I was also in the Fallout, but I didn't draw that much. I was just like, everybody liked me because I was chill, but Carter used to always get the fall off, or Kobe would get some of the fall off and shit talk because they draw like constantly every day, and the students would give him shit.
Whoa, I don't know about drawing, but okay.
I feel like
some of it. That's why I said some of them, because I don't even remember if you got any fall off.
Any fight?
But
you know what was really crazy for for high school, right? Let me say, you guys know those guys that used to draw, but like either they were like copy like a picture of fucking either SpongeBob or Tweety Bird or anything they see on fucking like TV, like on like the computer screen, they just copy it and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it used to piss me off. People used to tell me I couldn't draw because I couldn't do that stuff. And I straight up told them, like, copy, motherfucker. I could draw circles around your ass literally right now. like one time I got into like an entire art off with a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, in school. You know what I'm saying? This is in the middle of the class. Of course, we had a substitute. You know what I'm saying? The old little bald dude. We didn't give no fuck about him because he didn't give no fuck about us. So me and the whole class, we right there in the middle. We in the middle of just in the damn big ass table and shit, right? So you know, we drawing and sketching and shit. This nigga had to. He was right there by the computer. So see, he printed out a picture of fucking SpongeBob, right? Straight up picture of SpongeBob, and he just had to look at that shit and copy him. Motherfucker said, damn, he can look at that shit and draw, bro. How come you can't do that? I said, I bet. So it's like I started sketching Super Saiyan 3 Goku and shit. And motherfucker like, oh, damn, bro. Hey, hold on, this motherfucker can draw for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that from that day forth, I showed motherfuckers like, okay, if you gonna draw, actually draw some shit at the top of your head, man. Don't just like look at some shit and copy, because then that's not art. You can use it as a form of practice. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with tracing if you practice. That's another thing too. It's like don't let nobody just think if you trace you a bad motherfucker. Like, nah, man, tracing helps you. You know what I'm saying? Helps you a lot. Just like don't post something and say it's yours. You know what I'm saying? I hate people who do that. Art theft is like, ugh. But continue, because this is still your story, Denario.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that was the basics part. Yeah, just kind of get into art from doing nerd stuff and being like outcasted and whatever your circle was in school. But yeah, and then eventually it got to a point where like, and then like I started like a comic. One of my past best friends, we drew on like notebook paper, so crappy. But yeah, we had like 4 of them, and then like her parents got upset and threw all the trash because they were kind of strict like that, and so it's like it was soul crushing to have that happen. And yeah, and then just draw from there. It just literally just comes out of boredom and like having the like kid mindset and that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into art. What I could say, because I was kind of AFK, but also
no, that's okay.
You're fine. What exactly, like, what is your main drive whenever you like draw something? Like, is there any thought process that goes through your head when you draw something? Do you just draw just to draw?
Well, I'm more of the type of person that's better with coloring than rather than. So like I'll look at maybe like the color palette or like what I have and like try to work out something I think would look together. But like I feel like idea wise, I'm not really good at coming up with original ideas often. It kind of happens in the spur of a moment because you'll be like inspired by something, but not necessarily like something brand new. It'll kind of be hooked off of another idea, but still something I made. So,
all right, that's kind of the same thing with me too. I feel you.
Yeah, so it's mostly with me. I'm a lot better at coloring than anything.
So yeah, is there anything else we gotta ask?
SSJ, whatever you guys y'all next.
Yeah, because.
Yeah. So
wait, hold on. Rex, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still alive, people. I know we're going over time a little, but.
Oh, a little.
Mm-hmm.
What time is it?
It's 12.
Oh no, that's okay. Last week we ended around this time anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we stayed on like one topic from.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
So okay, so like we'll wrap this up and then we can just finish off with
Grinder gears.
Right.
Right.
So hopefully we won't take too long. Whatever. Like SJ or X, which one you want to go first?
I guess I'll go.
Right.
Well, kind of like with Seal here. I'm a writer, not really so much an art someone that draws, but I also do some photography. So his stuff about photography, I heavily related to. As I have, well, even though I don't have a DSLR, I wish I had one. I have like an SLR
You know what I use for all my digital photos? I'm using my mom's DSLR.
I have an old SLR from like the 70s that used to be my mom's, even though that camera is still pretty good. It's a good camera. I know like film is dying out, but it's a good camera. But it's like, but I would love to do cosplay photography as a bit of a cosplayer, and I'm always looking online, seeing my favorite cosplayers and just looking at the really good pictures they're able to do. But I'm definitely more of a landscape photographer, from what I've noticed, because it mostly started when I was in high school, and then I went to Cancun with my family. I took a lot of pictures of the ruins, and then when I came back, some friends of the family were saying like, "Man, you did some really good pictures. The lighting is nice. The way how you exposed everything." I'm like, "Wow, that's." And I even did that when I went to Australia. So, because I definitely have that eye. I feel like I know, like I almost as though I'm a director. Where I'm like, I know exactly what I want when I see something in the landscape. I know exactly what I want to get in. Hell, I'm even like that when I take screenshots in a video game.
Right.
Oh yes.
But yeah. Although me, when it comes to writing, TJ here mentioned it, that like I'm kind of like his co-writer with a lot of stuff, along with Siraxis. That was kind of a grade school thing. Like I would turn in papers, and a few English teachers would say, like, "Man, you did some really good work." And this is coming from a kid that's in 5th grade. But I didn't really start doing a whole lot of writing until I was in high school, where I did Prepare to Cringe, fan fictions.
Well,
but
come on, there's some really good fan fiction.
Oh yeah, to anyone out there that believes the meme that all fan fictions are cancer, don't.
Only if they're written by 13-year-olds.
Yeah, fan fiction is not for hacks. I'm in my 20s and I still write fan stories about games I like. As long as I feel, my philosophy is, as long as you stay true to the source material, I'd still think if you try to like emulate whatever you're basing it off of, you're gonna do good, because like I've read some real fire fan fictions, especially based off series where the continuity is all fucked up by whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe if it's just like a game where you create your own character or something like that. But probably by the time I was junior or senior year, I started doing like more original stuff. I'm a huge fan of the light novel format. Like as opposed to TJ here, I'm definitely more of an anime guy. So like I write with the intention to do light novels. Like if with like Sword Art Online and more popular stuff like that. I feel like my real inspiration came from when I discovered Fate Stay Night, that visual novel, because like I'm a huge fan of Kinoko Nasu, his work, as well as Gen Urobuchi, who made the Madoka Magica series.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and there's other like long gone writers I'm inspired by, like, because I love cosmic horror, I love cyberpunk, like sort of the urban fantasy type setting. Because like a lot of my writing, it's fantastical, but it's still set in like our time period. And TJ likes to joke about this, how like I'm the go-to guy for it if you want something dark.
Yeah, so like if I need anything just like really fucked up, I'll say, Jay, I need you to do something for me. I need you to hit up the books. Write this down for me. I need some motherfuckers getting dismembered. So I got
this list of characters I intend to kill. Yeah, that's pretty much all your favorites. Even though I'm like nowhere near as fucked up of a writer as TJ hypes me up. I'm not like George R.R. Martin. I don't read wedding people.
Okay.
Well,
you sound like you're contemplating.
Although, there was a light novel I started where like I started because I was real pissed off at someone.
There was a light novel.
I had a huge falling out with a friend, so I was just real mad, and I just started just think of really dark shit to put the characters through. Fun. But even when it comes to like art, like sure, I'm not much of an artist in terms of drawing, but I want to get into it. But when I design characters, I am inspired by several artists, namely like Red Juice. If you're sort of aware of the anime called Guilty Crown, he did the artwork for that. Like easily one of my favorite artists. and maybe or like in Huke with like the industrial style. But yeah, you and me, Seal, we kind of can relate to things because I like content creating with videos as well. People say I also have a knack for video editing, and you and I got into YouTube around the same time. I was more inspired by Proton John.
Oh, him too.
Yeah.
Wow. I found him out later though. Like,
Yeah, well, with me it was the opposite because like a friend, a high school buddy of mine, we're real close. We started doing like the YouTube Let's Plays with Super Mario Brothers World ROM hacks.
mhm.
I even helped make a few of them.
Oh wow.
Didn't really go any farther. So yeah, I wanted to do Let's Plays sort of like John in terms of being goofy and just doing the random shit. But if anything, I'd say nowadays I'm more inspired by content like JonTron or PBG, where it's just like it's not really a Let's Play, it's not really a review, it's more like just a video talking about the game and maybe being informative, but still being real comedy like with the skits.
Right.
Right.
But I do like being informative and opinionated because another thing I did on my channel was a lot of rants. So like I'd say very Total Biscuit. I like Total Biscuit's content as well, where I'm just like gushing about a topic and just throwing my 2 cents in. Because like a friend of mine says, and the reason why I say Total Biscuit is because a friend of mine says I'm his Total Biscuit to his Jesse Cox, because like I'm usually the more cynical person. I'm the cynical Yankee, more like it, not the Brit.
Yeah. So actually, you answered all the questions. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Proton John because again, I didn't find out Proton John until like what? When they started the Runaway Guys, that's when I found out about them.
Maybe.
That's when I found out about it. Like 2 years after I started watching Chugga Conroy, that I found out about Proton John and Nintendo Capri Sun.
Oh yeah, him too.
Yeah.
I got the keys.
Yeah. So Saraxis, what about you? What's your history with art or content creating?
I hope you're not forgetting me.
You know.
Wait, Siraxis might be dead.
Sriracha shrimp.
No, I
Yeah.
thought the topic was about grinding gears, but
No,
No. We
that's
didn't
next.
move on just yet.
Not yet.
We're just finishing up. So like Siraxis,
Like
what-
art
what-
history and content creation.
Yeah, what gets you? What made you want to be a creator or writer and stuff?
well, I mean, pretty much the same thing here. I saw a bunch of YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
This looks fun. This looks fun.
I mean, with writing though, I've been writing amateur stuff that I'll never finish. As early as 7th grade, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Born as no, that's good, yeah. But so like any inspiration, favorite artist, favorite writer, or what?
Saraxis.
Well, I don't really do that much art wise. I always like the artist that worked on the Dot Hack series.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I think that art and the artist is like the main reason why I like putting like stuff like kind of like large pockets and like tribal tattoos and lines on characters' faces, kind of like war paint in a way.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
his,
tribal format.
I can say the same thing. His artwork is the reason why I would do face tattoos or face paint, just tattoos in general. I don't know about the clothing, but definitely the face art.
Yeah.
Oh, a little off topic, but like I don't know if you guys heard about this, but the creator, not the artist, but the creator of High School of the Dead.
Yeah, I linked that. He died.
Yeah, that's
kind of.
So we definitely ain't getting that shit.
Well, apparently some people might be taking it over because I know the board game is being spawned from High School of the Dead, but we're not entirely sure if someone else is going to continue.
Game?
Yeah, tabletop game, Dice of the Dead.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it's a stupid ass name, but it's just. But apparently, from what I heard, there might be some writers that might take it over with the artist for whatever. I don't really know, but maybe that could be for later. Moving on.
Yeah, but so you've done that? That's all you got to say.
Yeah, I'm done.
Silver Winter.
Okay. So, my primary thing is writing, right? But that wasn't always the case. I've always hated the classical sword and board, the pen and the pencil and paper. I never really liked it. I've always I had to think, I had to do stuff with my fucking hand, I had to like write letters and shit. I really did not like it. I preferred to like type or something like that. It's just every school I've been to, use some musty ass pencil, write it out. And I really hated writing because of that, because I had to do so much goddamn work just to like write a few letters and shit. And classes I usually excelled in the most is art. And I mean, I'm not by no means a Galileo or something like that, or maybe he's a philosopher. I got that wrong probably. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. I wasn't the best at it, but I was always absorbed in it. And that's how I got high grades, is because I was primarily focused in that area. Usually when I do any sort of work, you can hand me probably like, it was like wood burning in one school I did. We had to like make a picture by burning into the wood.
Yeah.
And, I, wasn't the best at it, but like once I got like an image started, I started like really going in on it. I wasn't the best at it. I was just very invested in it. That's usually how I handle like most tasks. Show me something new and I do it enough and I'll be really invested in it. I mean, basic shit like inventory, I can pretty much be really invested in it because I can get my mind into it, because it's like this, right? I suffer from a type of way how my brain likes to disembody myself from reality or something. I forgot what it was called clinically, but I remove myself from reality where I stand. I'm usually often reason why I had like classroom aids or IEP aids, because I would just simply disassociation. It's called disassociation. I would just simply leave my current reality and go somewhere else. I would just look out the window all day and not class. I would just think off, or that's really what, the driving force behind my writing, because I would think of so many things and I would say, damn, I can't draw. And so, tried my hand at drawing. It takes time and dedication that, I would want to have, but at this point, I'm not willing to put out. And that's the result that I am at right now. The thing that I'm good at right now is writing. And over the years of me using that pencil and paper, and an amazing high school teacher by the name of Miss Ham, Jacqueline Ham. Jacqueline Ham. She created she wasn't the first, but she created the most definitive atmosphere for creative writing with high school. You could write anything that's, appropriate for a high school setting, and you could like show it off. She praised creativity in letters, than writing. Say, I was always different from the crowd. Everybody would be "What's up" on a new word of the day. That I used to fucking like go off on it, like a new slang word. They used to have like slang come out of the fucking woodwork, and I would not know what the hell they're talking about.
I mean, I felt the same way about that too.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Current events, I wouldn't really know. Didn't really care. Things what were cool. I didn't give a damn about Jordans. I didn't know. I would have to see the star of what they're talking about. Like fucking, I didn't even know who Ludacris was. I didn't know who 50 Cent was. Like, people are like, oh, that's that. I'm like, how do you know? I'm like, I'm never with it. Always somewhere else. So, and it also gets so bad to the point where I will literally daydream while walking. No, I won't get run over, of course, but I will literally daydream while walking.
No, I feel you on that too, because I actually do the same thing. It's like, well, even if you could just be like walking and sitting, goddamn it, laying down in bed, you just like drift off and think about things, right?
It's your things and like stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Whole
I feel
worlds.
you definitely I feel you definitely on that, Kobe.
And that's what starts.
Yeah.
So that's why we're all so creative. We get our creative mind going because we're getting in touch with that. Even though it's called disassociation, and you're separating yourself from reality. It's kind of our drive for doing it. I do the same thing. I daydream. I used to be.
My shit is clinical though.
They used to when I was about 6, 7 years old in kindergarten, 5, 6, 7, kindergarten, first grade. My grammar school, my primary school, wanted to. They told my parents they wanted to diagnose me with ADHD,
Right.
and my parents were not taking that because they knew that I was smarter than I wasn't really like that. Because it was only because of the sole reason for it was because I daydreamed a lot, and it did get to a problem where I just like not pay attention in school, and my grades would suffer sometimes. But looking back at it now, I'm glad that I still do daydream a lot because now it's the creative reason for why I have like why I want to do photography, because I think about all these images come up in my head. When we was working on a comic in high school, I came up with all these different universes, all these character ideas, and I always think about like whenever I think about stories, I want to make the most emotional shit ever. I want people to feel devastated about these characters. I want them to connect with these characters and then have them see this. Like, I was always inspired by tragedies because when it all ended, you were like, fuck, that shit was good, but it takes an emotional toll. And that's what I liked about when it came to writing. But yeah, this is how our creative minds go. We just daydream a lot. Like
kind of had a similar experience like that when I was in grade school.
Yeah, same here.
Because like I barely even remember how it went down, but all I know is my mom would tell me the story a couple of times how like one of my old teachers tried to stick me in a special ed for fuck knows whatever reason, and she was not having that. And like I said, I forget the reason. I'd have to ask her for what the reasoning behind it was.
Right. Fucking
focus in.
Yeah, like funny thing about it, like they actually put me in like a special ed classroom, like when doing my 8th grade year, like at the beginning, because it's like, I don't know, some shit about some 7th grade shit, but like they saw, I think I ain't been in there no longer than 2 weeks. They said, oh fuck, yeah, he don't belong in this classroom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, I may not pay attention, you know what I'm saying, but it's like that's one thing I say that's wrong. Like, with not to stray too far off the topic, I say that's one thing that's wrong, like with the school system and stuff, is because it's like they just like say some shit and just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it primarily is spawned like if you think on a different wavelength.
Right, because it's like, yeah, so like they weren't even in there for like 2 weeks.
I mean, like shit. I'm kind of like that at work. I'm just like, okay, how about I do this? It's exactly the same thing, but I just do it differently. But the solution is exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I like about being at work, it does gives me time to think about things. Like when I'm at, even though I'm a security guy, I'm supposed to like focus on one thing. Like, where I'm at, nobody freaking steals or anything. I still watch motherfuckers, but nobody being at work kind of like, I actually like it now because like I used to hate it like a motherfucker. It gives me time to think about things and kind of like being away from the computer, like actually being away from doing the works and stuff. It kind of like kind of gives me time to like think about those kind of things. I don't know if it's like that with everybody else. It's like if you're away from like the computer or like away from just like, you could just even be in bed at night. That's one thing that keeps me up at night because I'll be thinking about some shit sometimes. Like, oh fuck.
I mean, I totally agree, and like some of the things I've like come up with, like, I mean, one of my favorite characters in the Sonic series is Amy Rose. Right. Don't know why, but she is. But the things that I do with my mind in terms of like stories, like what if things were different? What if she wasn't this hapless girl who's like hopelessly in love with this hedgehog? What if she could actually, hold her own for one? They gave her a hammer. Why doesn't she use it? I have never seen her use it at all.
Yeah, and I also think that was like a big plot point of her arc in Sonic Adventure 1, like of her like growing up a little bit, like being home. And I think that's actually why they kind of writing her the way she is now in Sonic Boom. And I actually like Amy a lot better as like the strong independent woman that don't need no man. Like Sonic Boom Amy is like actually pretty damn cool.
At least the cartoon.
Yeah, at least the cartoon.
Not the game.
Not the game.
the
Even the
game.
cartoon acknowledges that.
And to touch up on my writing and how I go about it, my favorite element of writing or stories in general would be magic. I don't
Yeah.
know what prompted that, but like anything concerning magic, that's pretty much my type of like thing that I like, as far as like video game stories and comic books, graphic novels, just magic. And so that prompted me to have a fantasy like writing style. My I also like to indulge in like the psychological genre of like anime, which also influenced my writing style to the point where, I can't really write a comedy effectively. I mean, it hurts me so much that I can't write a comedy because like some fucked up shit under the hood that people have to find out later. Like, damn, I don't think that man's okay anymore. Type of
Right.
So that's usually how my like style goes. When I write characters, I usually follow tropes or things that I've seen before. But as someone who's creative, I put my own spin on it. You are the mold for where I want to make, and I can twist it into whatever I want. So I sometimes, or I believe I do, like compelling characters who are unique in their own way and are usually, and I follow the idea that your characters must be unique to a very high degree, because I usually follow the One Piece formula when it comes to like uniqueness, where they are completely and utterly different from each other. And yes, that's how it should be, but the way how they like interact with each other, their memories, their styles, everything about them. Usopp is like a super coward, but he's a sniper. Sometimes have a heart of gold. Nami's very greedy, but despite her being weak, she will fight. So there are certain things that I like to take from different stories. How my usual style goes with like main characters, usually like female protagonists. Why? But that's always been the case. They're always they're like Erza. They're like really strong. They know their stuff. They're not an idiot either. They're just really strong and really good at what they do. Usually, the female protagonist usually has a military background or something really good, like a particular sport, particular ability. I had one story where it was about a little girl, and then yes, it's supposed to be science fiction, but I did throw a little bit of magic there because.
Don't worry, I understand. I'm pretty much the same.
And it's usually, I guess, it's also the leadership is also women. I don't know. It's a matriarchy. I don't know what I do. How I want my be as like a writer anyway.
Right.
Right. What is it that keeps you? What wants you to keep? What's the driving factor that wants you to keep doing writing, or what is it about writing that keeps you coming back?
So, all right.
Oh yeah.
Peace out. When you are onto something, right? I don't know how to explain it, but when you write a sentence, it's like, grr, I got a sentence, this, that, and this. Then when things start rolling on, like Zarya when she gets high charge, it's a fucking snowball.
I'm powered up. Get in there.
Get in there. I'll cover you. Go. Like, I will start the beginning of the story, and then I won't know. I really never know. I'm a discovery writer. I don't know what I'm going to write before I write it. Yes, I'll have like the basic outline. I want this to happen at this time, but that's very, very vague and very brief. Right. I just want this to happen eventually. It's not something I'm going to go this here, I'm going to go here. I don't know what I want at that point in time. Right. I will write whatever comes to mind, what makes sense.
Okay. So like me and you are kind of the same thing. Like it's kind of improv in a way. That's actually what I'm doing. I can't say what I'm working on right now, but that's actually what I'm doing too with something that I got. Sometimes because you know what's going to happen, but like you may not know how it's going to happen right away until you actually start doing it.
Yeah, and then the fact that I don't know about it Then I start coming up with things on the fly again, like Zarya, a fucking snowball. You're like, holy shit, I'm on a roll. I'm going in. That feeling where, oh, I am getting somewhere. That feeling is where, is what's the driving force. And not only that, I fucking suck at drawing. You know, I appreciate art in various forms: photography, sometimes writing, regular art, digital art, and I can say like it was just this quickly. It was just this one piece, this one photography piece. This lady took pictures of like homeless men around the country, and so it really spoke to me because it was this one particular photo of a homeless man smiling, and it was like I think it was like the heat you give off when you're like breathing in cold air, the mist and everything, and the scruffiness of his beard, clothes and everything, his smile, like he like seeing the light of God or something like that. I saw a man who looks incredibly joyful, but to me, he looks positively insane, as in he's like lost his marbles. I don't know what about that photo spoke to me, but I really enjoyed that photo, that he had such a strong emotion. So I have all this appreciation for the various forms of art that I can't really effectively. I can be very, very engrossed in photography. I can be very engrossed in video editing. I can be very engrossed in a lot of those things and do them on a very decent level. And that's that. I'll just be very absorbed in my work. I won't have any passion, say. Writing is the only thing that, I'll be very absorbed in, but I can also contribute to something with it. I also have like a joy of sharing this story with. And I can create an entire world at my own fingertips, at my own effort. I can't draw, but I at least tell you about the place in my world is like.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So, yeah, that's pretty much everybody's inspiration. You can see that there's a lot of us have similar reason as to why we do what we do.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's another reason why I made this group too. I made the LewdSquad like not just to like draw naughty stuff with my friends, but like just to create
lies.
Like seriously, like it's like I made this group to like actually like other artists and like friends, because I never really had that. Like I've been like in groups with like friends, like we all hung out and played video games together, but it was like me being the type of person I am, is like I like art, and I've never really been around enough people who talked about art as is. So I decided, I want to make my own group with people who create, do all types of things together. Just we all could just chill. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. We all just get together and we chill and talk about things. You know what I'm saying? Either it would be art, video games, or just video game art. Everybody got their own story and why they do what they do. And I think that's what makes each and every one of us just like, so damn cool. Like I like every bit of like everybody's like creative talent, in this group, no matter what it is, and it's just amazing, man.
Yeah. So
you're fucking welcome.
Thank you, bitch.
Fuck out of here. But don't forget I can ban your ass, nigga.
All right.
This may be your podcast, but it's still my group. What it do?
So, SSJ, what ticks you off this week?
Oh boy, here's what I wanted to do. Since I talked about. I know in the last podcast I talked about how like in some indie games where they go like ultra weeb, but at the end of the day, one thing that really grinds my gears is when someone tries to say this game is pandering to weebs when they don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
Define pandering to weebs.
Well, you know how I mentioned, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey is getting a remake? Well, naturally, because they're adding a new character in, it automatically means, she's just some generic anime waifu. And I'm like, maybe it's pandering to the weebus that like Persona. I'm just like, do you even know what you're talking about? I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. A Japanese company making a JRPG is pandering to obnoxious Westerners that obsess over anime.
To cut in for a second, excuse me. What I'm gonna say has nothing to really do with that, but usually when Japanese developers go back and like probably add something new in terms of
new-
like an updated release of like a game,
Mhm.
it's usually for like a character that either you could like remove entirely, and you know for sure like the entire game itself is not really affected by its disappearance, or
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't like the character that's in.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like
for
that.
example, Zinnia.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that. Well, it's that new character. I know you're talking about like that whole new character thing, and that's totally acceptable. What I'm talking about is just like the legitimate phrase and how it just seems to not make much sense to me. Like okay, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, bringing it up again. How like I understand why people were justifiably angry over how the game turned out after everyone assumed there was going to be like this, this crossover to this Namco X Capcom type crossover between SMT and Fire Emblem. But no, it's now like a game about J-pop and shit. But everyone's saying like, oh, it's just weeb bait. I'm like, well, the stuff that it's talking about, it focuses on the Japanese entertainment industry. Well, this is all normal mainstream daily shit for the developers and the people that know about the Japanese entertainment industry. Yeah, you can say it's weeb shit over here in the West because it's a niche, but not when it's commonplace in its country of origin.
Right.
It's just like how I said how like people were calling like Lucky Chloe 2 anime. It's just like, well, okay, yeah, she's a pop star, but guess what? That's totally common over there.
Yeah. Though
that's kind of what.
Though to correct you on that a little, she's an American that's
Yeah.
become a Japanese pop star.
Yeah, but shit, there's instances of that in Japan as well. It may be not full. Some that are American, some that are from like European countries, or some that might be even biracial. Again, it's still pretty like hell. It's still on the Atlas thing. I mean, the idol group that's in Persona 2 that has Lisa as the front runner. That's based off a real J-pop group that was around the time, and like their lead singer was half American.
Yeah.
So it really just affects Japanese games, really, because it really just affects Japanese games. Like, yeah, you could say a Western game might be pandering to weebs if it has like a real anime art style, because like it's attracting that sort of niche. But when it's coming from something where this stuff is normally quite common or more mainstream, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when Japanese game developers make a game with the Japanese market in mind. Another
thing is that they probably just did it just because they know that they will also help have a larger audience if they did attract more American audiences, because
at the same time,
anime right now in America is like
I know. Yeah, well, at the same time, I do find it hard to believe how games like how something can pander to like quote unquote weeaboos, when games like Guilty Gear and TMS have characters that are tongue-in-cheek jokes about those types of people.
Yeah.
Like Guilty Gear has Chip, which he's an American that claims to be Japanese and is a ninja. And then TMS has Barry Goodman, who is basically who's might as well be a caricature for like the joke about people that buy Atlas games.
Right.
Shit, I totally forgot another example I had in regards to this. Yeah, like people calling Super Smash Bros. A weeaboo game just because there's all these Fire Emblem characters in it. It's like that.
Jesus.
a game made entirely comprised of characters from a Japanese video game company.
Is it because they're Japanese? Or is it because of Fire Emblem?
It's like it's overly Japanese because of the Fire Emblem characters, even though Fire Emblem is campy 90s medieval fantasy.
Well, what about all these other Nintendo characters? I don't. When I look at Smash Bros., I don't think of it as a weeaboo game. I just think of it as a mashup fighter.
It's not a fighter. You know what I mean?
It's
a
also
mashup casual game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a party game.
Better, TJ.
Much.
You're also deriving too much value out of the word weeb when they say that.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nobody knows what the word means anymore.
Yeah, it's been tossed around a whole bunch.
It's been tossed around. At this point, it's like saying edgy. It basically just means you don't like.
If you like anime,
you don't like this. It just means that you don't like this. Like, especially it gets tossed around by like certain fan bases of certain video games. Like, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Souls games, so yeah, Dark Souls fans are completely uptight about anything they consider too anime.
Yeah. What were you saying, Kobe?
I mean, you can call me a fucking super weeb. I mean, really, reality is that I bought like a pair of plastic chopsticks for like $12 off of Amazon, and they have bunny rabbits on them, and bunny rabbits are awesome. Don't judge. I bought them exclusively to just eat like ramen noodles with, or my mom bought me udon noodles, bless her heart, and I had like thigh noodles, and I used to make like teriyaki sometime. So I bought those chopsticks exclusively to eat teriyaki,
Yeah.
ramen, and a whole bunch of other things. You know, that seems, and I also have like, I figure, I mean, I have like a desire to cook more Asian dishes now because
I do that all the time.
of the fucking South and the American cuisine for once. So
I do that all the time. I have a cookbook entirely dedicated to bento boxes.
all right, God bless you. God bless you. Sometimes you get a little bit tired of, you know, I mean, God bless America and the classic grease of cheeseburger. I can't get away from that. But
Of
like,
course not.
sometimes
gyros, chicken, pizza, all that shit.
gyros, but they're called euros. But yes,
Gyros,
can't get away
bro.
from those either.
You know, we're not gonna have this argument. It's gyros.
No, we're not. We're not gonna have this.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it just doesn't make. Well, yeah. At the end of the day, it's just like when I hear that phrase, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me when you look at it from the perspective like of who the game developer is really trying to aim the game at. Because like, let's face it, the Western audience is usually the afterthought.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I see something weird in a Japanese game that comes from Japan, I think, oh, Japan.
And it's like, oh, this is something totally normal.
To be Japan.
I mean, hell, like it's the same thing with our video games. Like people act like, oh, like Western RPGs like Skyrim and Fallout are kicking the shit out of Final Fantasy. Where it's like, yeah, because like Elder Scrolls is familiar
I think
to
Japanese people like Elder Scrolls too. Like that game.
With like games like the Elder Scrolls, that's totally familiar to Western audiences. Over in Japan, the most popular JRPGs are the Tales of series. And freaking Final Fantasy. It's completely flipped over. Why? Because that shit's familiar to them.
But who would want to play? I mean, I guess a lot of people would like to play Skyrim opposed to Final Fantasy.
Well, yeah. Well, then keep in mind is that there's that whole JRPG versus Western RPG format. The fact that Western
I do not understand. But
well, Western RPGs didn't even evolve from RPGs. They evolved from simulation game. That's why they're totally focused on the immersion.
Yeah, that's a story for another day.
Yeah, of course it is.
All right. You finished with?
Yeah, that's what grinds my gears.
TJ,
Yes.
what has grind your gears this week, if anything?
My job.
Here we go.
So I've been as I don't know if you guys know, I've been pretty sick lately. I've not been in the best of moods. My insides have been unraveled. So like I called my boss on Thursday and said like, yo, I can't make it in. Gladly she was understanding, but it was like my scheduling manager called me the next day and said, hey, you still coming? Because it was 6:22. I'm in bed screaming and shit. And so she's like, hey, you still coming into work today? I'm like, yo, no, like I can't. Like I already called and talked to you about this like yesterday. It's like I can't come in. I won't be able to. It's like I haven't, like, saying I need to be close to the bathroom. Like I can't move. She said, oh, okay. Well, we're writing you up for, weekend call out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? Like, what the hell? Like, my job is so freaking like backwards. It's like we get no benefits whatsoever. This job clearly isn't worth it. Like, they don't even like care enough to fire me. Like, I doubt it, Like, we get no sick days, no off. No, we get off days. Like, we get no sick days. We get no vacations, no benefits, no room for growth or anything. It's like you're just gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And when I first got this job, it's like, maybe like Sealguy is like nobody saw me. It's been like only time I see my friends at conventions now. Like it's been an entire like year since I've seen any of my friends and hung out with them. Granted, like my schedule is good the way it is now, just working like 2 days out the week. I can balance that, with me working at home with my art and stuff. But it's just simple fact is like if there's an emergency and I literally can't come, it's like you guys literally can't just like give me a pass or anything. It's like that's crazy. Like I understand, like when I got that job, I made an agreement to show up to work, but it's like there's some things that like that job does not do well. And like it can be very unprofessional, you know what I'm saying? They lie, they do all types of things to get you to come in or whatever. They sent me all the way to Skokie. Now, there's anybody that lives in the Chicago area, you guys know where Skokie is. It's
fucking far.
It's where you don't go on the red line.
Yeah,
Because you're not on the red line anymore. That's the thing. Even if
bro,
where I
that's
live,
the yellow line.
Yeah,
that's the yellow
even
line.
where I live, and I'm like pretty like I can drive 15 minutes straight down a main street, and I'll be at the city limits. Even then, that's still another. I'm still have to drive another 20 minutes to get to Skokie. So that's a whole hour from my house to Skokie, and I'm already like close to. I'm the closest one among TJ and Silverwood. So I'm still like really close to Skokie.
Right, so it's
like,
still
kind of a drives away.
That's another time I got written up just because I said I wouldn't go over there just because I said like that's too far. And you say, oh well, when you got this job, you say you'd be able to like willing to go. Like no, bitch. Let me tell you something. All right, you don't tell me to fucking go over there. Like I'm on the ass crack of Illinois. Like I'm like 30 minutes away from Indiana. Okay, like I don't have the time to go or like even when I have my car up and running, you think I'm gonna drive to Skokie? Like no, you got me fucked up.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I'm doing that.
How exactly did you run into that job again?
Literally, the guy that works at Barnes and Noble, the security guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
I asked him where did he work to get his thing, because I'm thinking I'm gonna be working at Barnes and Noble. I'm thinking I'm gonna be doing security there.
See, no, this was contract, wasn't it?
I think so, because
it's a firm, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do y'all still see him up there?
No, I don't go there all that much often. I haven't seen him really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like yeah, so it's like I'm willing. Yeah, like I don't know, man. It's just like so much stuff. Like I'm honestly willing to quit after ASIN because that's why I'm still at this job. Because I'm just saving up to go to ASIN. Then I'm gonna just quit and maybe do security again. Well, I just need to find me a part-time job where I could just like still have enough time to draw and hang out with you guys. Because once I get my car up and running, it's like y'all gonna be seeing me a little bit more often.
I mean, the only alternative I have for you, if your car is good enough, Lyft or Uber.
Yeah, but I'll have to have my license for about a year, and that's what I was gonna do anyway. Maybe sometime like late of next year, because I can literally drive Lyft for an entire week and have enough money for a con, for what in 1 week.
Yeah, because the great thing is about those that at least 70% of the money you make goes towards you. 30% goes towards the company that you're working with, Lyft, Uber, etc. So you can literally like make $200 in a day if you just drive for like 5 hours.
Yeah, 5-6 hours as long, like especially from downtown or if I'm just
especially if you hang around like really crowded areas like O'Hare Airport and Midway. People are always calling Lyfts over there, or downtown there are people always calling Lyfts and Ubers over there. You get easy money just by driving around those areas.
Yeah, I don't think I'm just trying to find something that's easily manageable because it's like, goddamn it, at least until I get everything set with the whole.
But your car has to be not top notch, but it has to be good because
they'll give you a car.
No, they don't.
If you ain't get it, huh? Yes, they do.
No, you can use your own car.
They'll give. But if you ain't got if the car ain't up to date, they will give you a car. You just have to pay for it.
You probably fucking lease that. Take like 40% now. Shit.
Yeah, if you driving a lot, like they'll probably you probably be spending about about $100 like every week. They'll take $100 out of your
$100 a week for a car lease, nigga.
Like it's something like that. Like depending on how much you drive, it's something like because like you can make that $100 back in like a couple hours.
But like that's more than you would pay on a car note.
Like at least I think that what it was like it's something they take
$100 a week. That's more that you would pay on any fucking car note. Any reasonable price car.
Yeah, that's like one of my Lyft drivers had told me one time because like he had like a little bit. It all depends on what kind of car you get. Is what he was telling me. But like my mom, like she has like a bunch of like fancy ass cars. I got like a Chrysler 300 I could probably use. Like anything pretty much from 2006 and higher, somewhere around there. Or like now here in Chicago, anything from 2000 We got like a truck I could use. You know, we got plenty of stuff I can use to do like Uber and Lyft in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it'll be cool something for me to do because like my job it's just really been pissing me off as of late. And another thing that grinds my gears is PayPal fees.
Let's go back to last week.
Oh.
Rewind to last week. What did I say about PayPal?
Fuck it.
So
We
like
are moving this ship along the waters.
I just got a commission, right? So it's like it's a $30 commission for a finished piece that somebody need me to do. And usually let me go on my PayPal right now because like sometimes they don't take out the fee. Like somebody sent me like $20 one time. I got the exact 20. I'll say something a little bit more, so it'll come out to 20. But like I don't know. Depending on the people, sometimes they take out like $1. Sometimes they'll take out like 80 cents. You know, it's crazy, man. It's like okay, yeah. I just received this $30 commission right now, but they took out $1.17. It's like, well, if I needed exactly $30 for something and they just end up taking that dollar, like, yep, we gonna take that. It's like I guess I need to understand whatever. Like, fuck that. That's like a whole dollar. Like I'm a fucking cheapskate.
Give me that dollar.
Like okay, so like right here, somebody sent me exactly $20. This was like the week before last. They sent me exactly $20, and I got the exact 20. Week before that, $19. You know, I mean $19. Another $20, but they took $1 out of that. Week before that, I got a $13. 3 weeks before that, $15. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so like I don't know if it's like depending on how high it is, they take like a fee out, I guess.
Yeah,
but sometimes they give me
percentage.
right. Sometimes they give me my exact amount. You know, and that's just that's so freaking
It's the same
crazy.
thing
I
with-
hate.
It's making money on eBay. When I make money on eBay, they always take out 10% of what I made on that item. On that
God
specific
damn.
item.
Oh, fucking hell. Like, yeah. Same thing. It's like, yeah, I've been selling some cards and some friends' extra figures on my eBay.
That's not including whether or not the buyer paid for shipping or not. Or you have to pay for it yourself, and then you have to get the materials for the shipping, and then you send it off.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me started. Like when I actually start doing stuff that's like over $60, because I'm going to be doing commissions like that like soon. It's like just imagine how much they would take out for stuff that's going to cost at least about like 60 or 100 something bucks.
Yeah, but that's just how PayPal makes their money.
Yeah, I guess as long as
The same reason with banks. Banks have bank fees, upkeep fees, because that's how they make their money. That's how you.
Because it's like my mom
use your service.
You know what's crazy? Because like when my mom came to get rent from me, like 2 months ago, I was like, "All right, mom, here you go. Here's rent." Blah blah blah. She said, "Oh, you missed about $20." I'm like, "What, mom? This should be enough to pay a goddamn bill. What you gonna do with $20? Buy 2 packs of cigarettes?" I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, my mom, when my mom asks for rent, she wants the exact amount. I mean, just like with anybody, yo, that's your mom, though. It's like she wants the exact amount. I'm like, Mom, chill out. Like, that's $20. Don't be no whole cheapskate. You know what I'm saying? So I got like, all right, let me go home, draw some titties, and I'm gonna have it for you next week. I didn't tell her that, but that's what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's another thing that grinds my gears too. Landlords. Oh my god, dude! Like my mom is like the worst landlord you could possibly have. It's like, granted, like
wait, is this about landlords? Or is this about your mom specifically?
Both.
But no,
He just comes in and says both.
But no, like just landlords, not just my mom, because not like there's been some pretty shitty landlords I've met. Like not from I only rented from my mom, but like family members and other people that rent for like some shitty landlords. Like my ex, like her landlord was pretty shitty too. Like fucking nosy guy. God damn it! It's like every time I come over to hang out, I say, "Oh, you waiting to go see your girl?" I'm like, "Yeah." When I ask me like 30 questions and shit, like I know I'm like, "Hey yo, like could you do me a favor, like leave me the fuck alone?"
Oh, our landlord's the same, because our landlord, my mom and my landlord, our landlord rather, they went to high school together. So every time he's coming over, he's talking his ass off, like, "Oh, here's all this to happen, here's all that to happen," and like, "Oh, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that?" It's like my mom could never escape the conversation because he's just constantly talking.
Oh man. Well, at least
It's
y'all
like she
ran
always has a sigh of relief every time he leaves. Like, oh,
It's,
never shut
it's
up. Didn't change in high school. Didn't change now. But yeah. Is that it, everybody? Does anybody else have any gears to grind?
What about you, Sir Alexis?
Well, grinds my gears.
Pussy
Well, being enveloped in disappointment and surrounded by it.
okay.
Damn, we're full
Oh.
edgelord on us.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like you got something you want to share with the class?
Nah.
Just the image of refund my dreams and happiness, please.
Right.
Another thing, I guess, to end this off is just having small hopes and dreams, but realizing they're incompatible with reality.
Yeah.
That's me every day.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, guys. Let's just like go to a strip club and everything will get a little bit better for us.
You always say blackjack and hookers are the solution to everything.
Well, it is. Who doesn't want freaking like card games and ass being thrown in their face? That makes me happy.
Card games always give me RNG always pisses me off, so that's I'll find a reason to be pissed off, even with that.
No, we'll find our reason to be pissed off is when like TJ gambles away his clothes.
Oh no, fuck that. See,
Just
well, there's
imagine.
one thing. There's one thing I need to know about me. Like, I'm pretty good at gambling. I ain't gonna never, bro. I'm a.
Okay, maybe it won't be the gambling. Maybe it will be the hangover adventure that follows after
Oh
the
no, that's
gambling.
my problem. That'll be my problem.
Yeah, that's Sean. He'll probably be the one that slipped the shit in our drinks.
Don't even give me more than 3 shots. Don't even think about giving me more than 3 shots. Otherwise, I will like go. Who knows what will come out of my mouth?
We don't even know where. We find out Syraxis was on the roof the
You're
entire
gonna need
time.
holy water for me after I'm done with. You're gonna have to pray for me once I get my consciousness back.
Stop you from going to parties, then.
Yeah, no, I'm stopping myself. Shit.
Uh-huh.
Shit. The morning after, I was like, oh, what is this
Oh
really?
fuck.
Literally 80% of the food that was in the house I could not eat because of that hangover.
Yo, guys, it's like damn near 1 a.m. So it's like,
Yeah.
y'all, you guys ready to start wrapping everything up?
Yeah.
Might as well.
All right, so everybody would like to plug their channels and their social medias. Starting with
Anyway, because
TJ.
I'll go last.
oh,
Well, yeah, like I'll go last because that's something I might do. I do need to say.
all right. So SSJ, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm starting to say we're at Twitch. I'm actually linked up with Seal Stream here, so eventually I might start doing pre-show streams right before the podcast begins. So tune in.
Alrighty.
Anybody else?
See, I think me, it's follow this channel, twitch.tv/Sealguy. Again, I'm linked up with SSJ. I do host this channel as well, but I also do streams every day at around 8 o'clock p.m. CST Central Time. Usually Overwatch or Destiny. It's going to be Destiny this week because the final live update for the game will be coming out. So there's that. Follow my Twitter at DiscHero. It's just me just rambling about stuff I'm hyped up for or fighting game stuff. And make sure you follow the YouTube channel, which is also Sealguy. If you can't find that, just type in Dark the Hedgehog 2.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Like I said last week, do
that
some
takes me
practice.
back.
Yeah.
You know, we knew like 6 of those.
No lie. We knew so many darks.
It's amazing that I still remember that username.
That takes me back.
All right. So, I just reopened up my commissions again. Well, I mean, they always been open. Like now, I'm just like, hey, now I kind of do need a little bit more money because it's like rent was like pretty high this month because I had to like my light bills and stuff was pretty high. So like I'm sort of kind of broke.
Just
Like I'm not broke, but it's like I want a little bit extra money in my pocket to buy stuff.
Just post a picture of your fridge and then explain why you need commissions.
but no. So it's like there's a couple things I want to do. want to buy a couple games, maybe pay my Netflix bill and stuff, like when I get it, because it's like all my
Persona
other
5
stuff
comes
is-
out next week.
Yeah, so it's like that's another reason too. Persona 5 is coming out next week. Let me just stop beating around the bush. So it's like
I want this game.
my commissions are open right now, so I got sketch, line art, finish things that you guys might need to do. There's certain things I will and won't do, but all that will be explained in the commission list. If you guys want more information about it, you can always, find me on Twitter at Simon Cripps, or you can just find me on my Tumblr website, Simon-Cripps Art. So we'll have all that in the links. Like if you're watching us on YouTube, it'll be in the description, or be right here in the Twitch chat. We'll just add all that to the description later on. 'Cause I think that'll probably be better for us to do instead of just saying what our stuff is. Just put it all in the descriptions.
Yeah.
And it'll be lovely if you guys help me out, because I'll do one Persona 5 and I do one Netflix and stuff. It's all my other money, I kind of do need to save that, the money I get from work. But it's the commission money is my fuck around money. So if y'all can just help your boy Simon Clips out, buy the titty, buy the booty, I do whatever it is that you might need to do if it ain't nothing too fucked up.
And muted.
Server mute.
But yeah, thanks guys so much for popping in, to this week's podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to Sealguy. Great guy, awesome videos. And we'll see you guys next Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Central, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Central.
Yeah.
Central time. And thanks again. Peace.
And done.
All right.
I'm
So
going.
I gotta.
I need food in my body right now.